Quinn exiting, there are no black women coaches currently in the WNBA. And everybody trying to stomp on each other. It's reckless for Matt to dismiss it as a cash grab. They're All right, welcome to the No Bull Podcast, or welcome back to the No Bull Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Bull, and I'm bringing you everything basketball. Because if you know bull, you know ball. All right, let's get into it. Welcome, Bruce, from the Format Podcast. Glad to have you here, Bruce.
What's up, Bree? Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not Bruce's first time on my show. It's your second. And
Correct.
So Bruce here has his own podcast. I dropped the link to his show, or just I put his show in the description. So check that out. Head over to the Format Podcast. Not only if you like basketball, but if you like football as well. Him and Transformer, along with some of their regular guests such as Sneed, they have conversations on real-time breaking news, latest topics, and they also have interesting perspectives when it comes to basketball. So please go over there. Interesting is probably like low-hanging fruit word. Bruce, what would you say about your show to my viewers?
Oh man, we get into the popular stories and the big names and stuff like that, but we really try to bring it from a place of objectivity. I got a journalistic background. My guy Transformer is an absolute comedian, but knows his stuff inside out. Sneed got what you need, is an educator, so he will educate you. So we have some really good differing vantage points that come in, and we got a lively crowd over there in the chat. So we have a lot of fun, and we try to really give you guys the real, not just like the narratives that you hear in the mainstream sports media.
Exactly. And I've been a guest on their show multiple times, and it's always a great time. Everyone always brings a completely different perspective. And so I think that's what makes it the most fun, is when we all got a different point of view that we bring to the table. All right, make sure, if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, comment in the chat. We have a full docket here today, but I'm mostly excited about our People's Choice topic because we have viewer submitted topics, or People's Choice segment. We have viewer submitted topics. Also, this is like No Bull Podcast after hours, guys. I've never streamed this late before. So I'm super excited. Not sure what we're going to expect with the crowd tonight, but I hope this is a really, really good show. So we'll see how it goes. Welcome, James Pierre, to the chat. Thank you for joining in. You were there on Man Down Sports Podcast last night commenting, so appreciate your engagement, and I can't wait to hear your takes and thoughts on what we're talking about. All right, let's kick it off first with the NBA playoffs. We know tomorrow is like the final day of the final week of the NBA regular season, and it has been a doozy. All right. Now, there was a big game last night between Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets, but their big stars didn't even touch the court. We wanted to see that MVP showdown between Joker and Shea, the top two frontrunners, due to extenuating circumstances with the other candidates. We wanted to see that because we had just witnessed the Wemby and Joker showdown. So how would we think the Joker and Shea showdown was going to go, right? But Nuggets maintain their game-winning streak. They are now on an 11-game winning streak, but they snapped Oklahoma City Thunder's 7-game winning streak. But that was just a quick, brief highlight because all teams were playing last night. I mean, it was a full slew of teams that played. Notably, the Hawks whooped Cleveland's butt. Bruce.
Yeah.
Before we get into the playoff picture, did you see that coming for that back-to-back? Because they played each other just 2 nights prior to, and Cleveland came out on top there. So what did you think about the Hawks' performance?
I think the Hawks are definitely a surprise team this year. And, shout out to them for the way that they have been able to compete and the way they've been able to. Nobody expected that. And even though Cleveland is good, I have such a difficult time believing in them, and I don't know that they believe. I don't know that they thought they would make us believe with the James Harden move. That to
Mhm.
me does nothing because, and we'll get to it later, but James Harden is obviously well past his prime. Obviously, no longer playing in a system that allows him to get ridiculous numbers, and obviously is not a guy that you can count on when the rubber meets the road. So I don't know what they thought they were doing with that James Harden move. But yeah, shout out to the Hawks, man, because they did put, belt to butt last night. And yeah, impressive.
I was just happy to see them make adjustments on the defensive end because the Hawks
Hmm.
are actually not that big. And so the fact that they and what they do is play this switch everything man to man defense. And
Hmm.
it's very troublesome against a larger team, especially with the when Kenny Atkinson finally gets his mind together and his head right, and they get the ball into Evan Mobley a lot more. You see how effective that could be against a smaller team like the Hawks, but not
Hmm.
last night. They
Yeah,
totally fell short.
right.
Okay. With the NBA playoff picture starting
Hmm.
to take even more of a shape, we have a few games left for today and tomorrow
Hmm.
that can determine at least the East on the East side, where we had so many teams records that were super close, and we were curious to see how the seedings were look. The only notable change in the seeding so far is the Sixers were 7th, and now they've dropped to 8th since their loss this week. And the Magic sit at 7. So from 10 to 7, we got the Heat at 10, the Hornets at 9, Heat at 10 with 42 and 39 record, Hornets with the 43 and 38, and then sitting at 8 is the Sixers with 44 and 37, and then Magic with 45 and 36. And then I got to put this out, the Raptors are sitting number 6 with 45 and 36, and they had a tough loss this week as well.
Hmm.
Um, Speaking to my lower third, Bruce, first and second round playoff predictions, which teams are built for a run? So let's start with the West, and I want to wrap up
Okay.
with the East because I think the West is maybe a little more, we might
Yeah.
not spend that much time on it, but the East is wide open. So let's start with the West.
Um. So obviously, and it's easy to say, right? The top three seeds in the West are all three of them are killers, and those are all three teams that can make a run. Obviously, OKC is the defending champion. They're really, really good, right? No reason to say that. They're good defensively. They
Right.
have arguably the best player in the league right now in SGA, the guy who's probably going to be the MVP. Um, so they're dangerous. We know I believe they clinched home court all the way through. So that's a
Right.
big thing for them. The Spurs, all that's going to depend on is that's going to depend so much on Wemby and his health, because if the Spurs can get to OKC, they're the team that can knock them off. We know that. Obviously, there's a budding rivalry there. There's a real slight bordering on hatred between those two teams,
Mm.
especially Wemby and Chet. And so you love to see that. I think that's great
Oh
for the
yeah,
NBA.
that was that rivalry's been since before they got in the league,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
I
They
think it's
play.
more
What
so
was that?
on
The
when
FIBA U20s.
yes, and I think it's more so on Wemby's side than it is Chet, because Chet gave him belt to butt back in the day. So I think
Mhm.
Wemby's like on that get back tour, to be
Yeah,
honest.
for sure. But I think he's well past him now. But he still wants to destroy him every time, so that's cool. But obviously, also we saw Denver recently, like you said, what on a 7-8 game win streak, and then we saw them go up against the Spurs last weekend in that epic big man matchup, Wemby and Joker, and we saw Joker outplay Wemby down the stretch to win that game. So they've shown that when it comes to it, they can beat. Um, they can beat the Spurs if they need to. Now, 4 out of 7 is a different thing, but Denver also has championship DNA. The Spurs do not. So we got to look at that. So obviously, those three teams. And it's funny because I had, before the season started, I had the Rockets being like the number 2 seed and being super dangerous because I
Same.
just felt like Ime Udoka, the way he coaches defense, the way he coaches, and then finally getting the guy in KD who can give you a bucket when you need it. I thought that was kind of the thing to
Gonna
kind of
set
push them
them.
where they, yeah.
Was that even before Fred VanVleet went down or after you were feeling that?
I was still feeling that. I knew Fred VanVleet was going to hurt them, but I was still feeling that way. And shout out to my guy Transformer. As soon as Van Vliet went down, he jumped off the Rockets bandwagon. He was like, "Nah, this is not going to go." So
He
he
was off
called
it
that.
early.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean,
Nah, he
honestly,
let it
like
be known.
to be honest, it's interesting because I when they had Amen Thompson, Amen Thomas at the Thompson at the 1, because we thought they were going to give Reece Sheppard more of a chance. But still, Reece Sheppard has managed to keep himself in the conversation for Sixth Man of the Year. And that says a lot for him in his second season with the Rockets. But do you think maybe Eam missed the mark offensively for this Rockets team in terms of getting certain guys in the right positions?
Absolutely. Yeah, not having a true point guard to kind of run the thing. And I think that I'm not a Chris Paul guy, but that's they should have went out and grabbed him as soon as he got free. They should have brought him in there and said, there's not a system in the league he can't run, right? He knows it all. He's with 18 years in or whatever. So that's not a problem. He has, the smarts for the game. He'll tell guys where to be. He knows where to get the ball and when to get it to him. So I think just that veteran leadership would have been the one that he needed.
I love that call out. The veteran leadership call out is so crucial. I mean, aside from KD and who else did they have in there that was a little older? He didn't start, but I mean, I guess we can say Steven Adams when they got him back on board.
Yeah,
but
that hurt too. Yeah.
But there was one more person I felt, because other than that, Jabari Smith Jr. and even Tari Eason, younger. So I'm trying to think who we're missing. I feel like there's one more old guy on that team besides. But
old guy. Yeah.
Shout out to the old people out there. We love you. You're loved. Veteran. We'll go veteran.
Veteran.
Veteran. Okay, so keeping in the West. So we mentioned the Nuggets, Spurs, OKC, and even Rockets. Now, how are we feeling about this Lakers team? And I recently I wish Transformer was here because I want to hear what he has to say.
Right. He's been very honest about it, though. He's been very honest about it.
Well, actually, one of the People's Choice topics that did not make it in was a fan saying, is LeBron faking this injury? Did he really get hurt in the last game so he don't have to, I guess, get as much criticism? It won't take a hit on his legacy, considering all the circumstances of the Lakers heading into the what do y'all think, chat? And we got some hitters in the chat. We got Simply Kaija from Just Simply Sports. Make sure you go over to her channel. It's so fire, bro. She covers like almost every sport, but Shorty knows ball. So make sure you head over there. What's up, Reese from Philly the Red Dragon? Cheetah's in the chat. We see Cheetah in here in a minute. We got some hitters. We got Kaz and Sean. So glad that y'all are here. We want to hear what you think about LeBron. Is he faking his injury? Do we think Luka's gonna come back? Do the Lakers, are they built for a run? What you thinking, Bruce?
No, absolutely not. I think that you will see in the first round 2, maybe 3 of those really, really good LeBron games. We've seen a couple of those here to end out the season. So you're going to see a couple. I really disagree with that comment. Now I'll get to it in a second. But we're going to see a couple of those really great LeBron games, but he doesn't have enough to think about this, right? I'm going to keep it a buck. LeBron never had enough help in his prime. These aren't my words. These are his words. They're Rich Paul's words. He never had enough help in his prime. How's he going to do it now? There's just not enough around him. So with that, and the problem is if you try to rush Luka or AR back, they're probably going to end up re-injuring themselves, and it's not good. So I don't know. I don't know. I doubt the Lakers have enough to make it out of the first round, and it's unfortunate because as much as I hate the Lakers being a Celtics fan, the fact is when the Lakers are great, it's good for basketball and it's good for the NBA.
Right.
So you would love to see the Lakers make a deep playoff run in the West, and of course the Celtics make a run in the East. But just quick comment: the Demonad says, "Don't think he's faking. They already lost Luka and Reeves. No reason to play until the playoffs." So how is it he's out there? He's playing against these bad teams and talking smack, telling that I can still do this ish and all that. But when you got to play OKC, suddenly he's hurt, and then he comes right back right after that. Stop it. Disingenuous. No.
And also, if they were to in the first round, they're gonna face Kevin Durant in the Rockets. So this is his chance to re-see Kevin Durant in this space. Does he want to live up to that challenge? Because we know KD was cooking him multiple occasions when they seen each other in the playoffs last. So I definitely would want to see that rematch. And I don't know if LeBron wants to actually see it, but for Lakers overall, as a team, I could not agree more. Are they built for this run? I don't think they're gonna make it out of the first round, and that's even if they still had Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron. That's just me
No, that's
personally.
different. I
That's
think if they
different?
had all three of those, I think that's very different. Yeah.
I'm tripping?
I'm not gonna say you tripping, Bree, but I think that would be very different if they had all their firepower.
If so the thing about AR and why they won't rush him back, and I don't even think AR would want to rush himself back, is he is in line to try to get more money for next year and get, so I can imagine why he wouldn't come back. But with Luka, LeBron, and AR, yes, it is. But I am such an advocator and believer that you can't just do it with 3 people. You need others. So the fact that even from their own coach's mouth, this is coming from JJ Redick's mouth, even though it's JJ Redick, he's saying
Right.
we need to find guys that are going to step up. Why you got to find guys that's going to step up? I would have faith in Rui Hachimura to step up in that. I don't have faith in DeAndre Ayton. Absolutely not. But you're going to need him in the sizes that come with this Western run that they would have to make. So maybe they can make it out the first round with all 3, but are they making it out the second? No. Now, moving on from those, let's keep going with this playoff picture. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about which teams are most sustainable to make a run, notably through the first and second round. We're starting off in the West. So far, we are at the Lakers Rockets series. Now, we talked briefly about the Nuggets, but I want to talk about them in the Nuggets versus Timberwolves perspective. We're talking Joker versus Anthony Edwards. And what do you see coming out of that series? Because we know Anthony Edwards, the stands are going to say, hey, he brought them to back-to-back Western Conference championships. That's the notch on his belt. But he's actually never made it all the way to the finals. And the current state of the Timberwolves, I believe Anthony Edwards plays a lot of hero ball. That's not going to work in this particular playoff road that he has. So what do you think about this Nuggets Wolves matchup?
Is Anthony Edwards back? I know he's missed a lot of games this year. Okay, so he's back. Now, the question is, 1, is he at 100%? And 2, that back-to-back Western Conference Finals thing, that was great. He balled out. That's over now. They're not beating the Nuggets. And here's the thing. Shout out to my guy Ed Dog. Joker, for whatever reason, has Rudy Gobert's number. That is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. A guy that's going to go into the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. But Joker flambés that dude when he plays against him. I don't know how he's able to. I don't know. But the point is, he's gonna work that out. And then if you can get consistent contribution from Jamal Murray, who's had a heck of a year this year, that will kind of equal/cancel out the Anthony Edwards. And I think that when it comes down to it, you're gonna have a very difficult time for the T-Wolves finding where the rest of the points are going to come from. And so I just they don't have enough. They're not going to beat Denver.
And the problem I think is because they spent Anthony Edwards just does, to me, he takes away opportunity at times, because I think a Naz Reid would be a perfect person if he were consistent. I think he's a fabulous, underrated playmaker. And Dante DiVincenzo is definitely inconsistent. I'm not a huge Julius Randle fan at all.
He's solid.
He's solid. That's
exactly
what I was about to say. He is who he is. He's not going to change. What you see is what you get. That's all, But Jaden McDaniels too is solid. So when I think about them compared to a Nuggets team, are you taking a Jaden McDaniels over a Christian Brown?
Yeah.
Are you taking Cameron Johnson over Naz Reid?
Ooh.
Are you taking a Tim Hardaway over Dante DiVincenzo? These are the matchups I'm thinking about. And then I'm trying to think, as deep as the Wolves go, they got a Bones Highland, but to be honest, I'm taking Peyton Watson over Bones. And I'm just speaking to a system type of playoff run win. Not like one-on-one, but as far as depth goes. And then let's not forget Aaron Gordon. Are you taking him over Julius Randle?
Yes. And here's the other thing. I was just thinking about it as you were running down the matchups. Aaron Gordon you can put him defensively on anyone because obviously he's got to pick up the slack because Joker's not going to do it. But
Right.
he can really make things difficult with, you know, his size, athleticism, and length on Anthony Edwards, because like Jamal Murray can cancel him out offensively, I think, but I don't think he can defend him. So that could
Right.
be interesting. You can throw different looks at Anthony Edwards, and if he gets any type of steady diet of Aaron Gordon, that's going to be tough sledding.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And this Nuggets team, it's clicking. Their rhythm, it's clicking.
Sure.
They're hitting on all cylinders. And so it's gonna be this late game stretch is perfect. They're peaking at the perfect time. So yeah, I can see them making it past the second round and getting the Wolves out of there. Maybe in 5, 6. I don't see it going to 7.
Yeah. 5
Okay,
sounds
let's
good.
move.
Maybe 6. Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe 6.
Maybe
And
6,
then
but 5 sounds good. I think you're right.
5 sounds good. Now, before we head to the play-in of the West, let's real quick go Lakers and Rockets. What's the record for the games?
4-2 Rockets.
Yeah, because I definitely look, as much as we doubt the Lakers, we gotta doubt the Rockets too.
Yes, correct.
Sorry.
Correct.
I'm sorry to that team, but that's just what we've got in our regular season. Well, I don't see why it would maybe change in the playoffs. It would be great. I'm sure Houston would love it. They don't have to face the Warriors this year in the first round and get knocked out.
Right.
Now I'm just talking crap. Okay, let's go to the play-in.
Okay.
So we have at 10 and 9, and these seedings have since changed because before the Clippers were sitting at 8 and the Suns were sitting at 7, but now because of this last week, the Blazers now sit at 8 and they would play the Suns and the Clippers would then face the Warriors. So this Warriors Clippers season, what you feeling, Bruce? Well, season.
I think Golden State doesn't make it out of the play-in. Yeah.
With Steph?
Even with Steph. I think what we're seeing, Ty Lue, obviously we know what an incredible coach he is. Ty Lue is a really, really good coach. And to see at one point early in the year, the Clippers were 6-21. Right. And now they're here just over 500 fighting for that playoff spot. They'll be in the play-in. And I want so much for us to see. Now, this could be my bias or what have you. I want so much to see Kawhi Leonard get a chance to show out in the playoffs. And I'm just hoping that he doesn't get hurt. So many years, you know, we've seen him get hurt around this time. But he has quietly had a dominating season. Like Kawhi has gotten busy. And so I don't know that Golden State has anything to deal with him. And I think that Ty Lue can outcoach Steve Kerr here. So I don't think the Warriors are going to get out of the play-in. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. And especially because that I really like the Kawhi Leonard, Benedict Mathurin, and Darius Garland trio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the Benedict Mathurin acquisition. And they even said it when they let when they let Chris Paul go, they said we want to focus more on the guards. I had no idea they were foreshadowing the pickups they were having because I was looking at their current guards. I was like, Chris Dunn? They're gonna focus on him? Like, what are we talking about? But he's since moved to the bench. And I don't really love Brook Lopez. Like, I don't love him. So if he's gonna match up against Kristaps, I got Kristaps over him. But what Brook is gonna do is take that 3. You know, he's gonna bring Kristaps out the paint. So I would be curious to see the Golden State Warriors adjustment. Also, I want to talk about them losing because I know at one point Draymond and Steph were looking at each other like, "Damn, remember when we only had 9 losses in a season, and now look at us, we're losing 9 straight." Like, look at where we're at now. They lost Moses Moody. I'm not saying that's a huge thing, but they're relying heavily on Brandon Podojemski to really carry them.
Yeah, Pod is trying. He's out there trying, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they offered Guy Santos this contract. They've been putting a lot more faith in him. You know, I don't know what's going on with Al.
He's old, really old. Like that's look, man. Shout out to Al.
He's a veteran, Bruce.
Keep getting them checks. Yes, he is a veteran. Keep getting them checks, Al. But man, like it's time, bro. It's time. You're not gonna win it. You're not gonna get a chip here.
So far, we've agreed on the West. I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Real
when we
quick,
get over to the East,
you
that's when it's
mentioned
gonna get
Kristaps.
sticky.
You mentioned
Yeah.
Kristaps. He's only played 14 games this year. There's something about him, like he's always got some mystery illness. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but that's the other thing. You probably won't even see him very much, but I get what you're saying about how Brooke Lopez will do it. But Brooke Lopez can defend the rim and he can shoot the three, so that's fine.
You gonna take that top of the key 3 from Brooke?
Yeah, he can knock that down.
I don't know why it bothers me so bad when he shoots it. I'm not gonna lie, Bruce. It really
I
bothers
hate to
me.
see bigs hanging out shooting the threes. Get on the block and go to work. I mean, it's cool that you can do it,
He's
but
taller than everybody.
yeah, for sure.
All right. All right. Final matchup in the West, we have the Suns and the Blazers. Personally, the Blazers are very underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Even with the Scoot Hendersons and Denny, Donovan Clingan and all that, they don't the Suns are gonna cook them. I think that's a 4-0 sweep. That's a gentleman sweep right there.
So I'm really surprised at what the Suns have been able to do this year, honestly. When KD left, and then of course they lose Bradley Beal, who that guy must be cursed. I don't know, man.
He's Bradley Heel.
Yeah, right, man. He pissed off some voodoo lady or something. But regardless, when all that went down, I'm looking at the Suns and I'm like, oh, these dudes are in the garbage again. So shout outs to Devin Booker for the way he's been able to carry his team this year. I didn't expect to see them here. I didn't even expect to see him in the play-in. So they are more impressive than I thought they would be. And like, I totally agree with you that Portland is very underwhelming, even though they have some decent individual parts, but for whatever reason, it doesn't come together properly as a unit. But yeah, I definitely got the Suns beating Portland.
And I can assume Kaz is saying that the Suns, they've been real sneaky all year, and they have sneaky good. And as much as he's hated, Dylan Brooks really does hold it down for a team, and I think he's been very crucial to this. Okay, let's move on to the East because that's what the nitty and gritty is. Yes, sir. Okay, the Eastern play. Like I said, the East are wide open. It was like over 6 teams battling for seeding. And so let's start in the play-in. Let's start there and work our way up. All right. So sitting at 9 and 10 are the Hornets and the Heat. If the Hornet or Heat, whoever wins, goes on to play the loser of 7 and 8, and then whoever wins that will then go on to play the Pistons. So they're looking at the play-in tournament, sure, but I'm talking if they get past the play-in tournament,
right,
and then they go in and they play the Pistons. That's as far as we want to go for that.
Right. So I think it's fair that we say that it doesn't matter whoever plays the Pistons is going home early. But with that said, I know my guy Mel he's on the Hornets, but Miami is going to take care of that. Even though Miami doesn't
really,
then they don't really stand out. I think the difference here is coaching and experience, and I think that's going to be the difference maker. Spo's going to scheme up some stuff, and LaMelo Ball. I don't think has he been in the playoffs before? Maybe once. I'm not a believer in that guy. Go ahead.
Charles Lee, though, I mean, he comes from a winning organization, and now you've seen him. They were on like a 23 and like 2 or 3 game winning streak. So what is it about the Hornets, aside from the coaching on the Heat? What is it about the Hornets that you just don't have faith in?
I don't have faith in the youth. I don't think that LaMelo Ball is a winning player at all, even though he's played a little better this year. I don't think I think his horrible shot selection, his high turnovers, like just watching him play, I'm thoroughly unimpressed with him, even though he can make the highlight reels. I like to say LaMelo Ball is all sizzle, no steak. And Con Knipple is, he's very good. I don't know how good that's going to be his first time in the NBA playoffs.
True. And Tyler Hero, Bam. I mean, their Jaime Jaquez, I think, wasn't Jaime a part of the team when they were the AFC making all the way to the finals? Okay. Now you add Norman Powell, who we're getting to that segment of overrated players, guys. Norman was on it. But Norman Powell, and then even Andrew Wiggins, who was a part of the Warriors right before their downfall, I would say, like
Mhm.
when they were
Right,
heading
right, right.
down, he was still a part of that like winning culture program, allegedly.
Mhm.
Davion Mitchell, Nikola Jovic,
Mm.
miskeep the
Jovic,
name
yeah.
up. Jovic.
Jovic.
But they also have a young guy like was it Khalil War? I'm just gonna say War. We have him. And so all of that combined, you have them as a wild card getting in. I look at the Heat as a wild card. They make me nervous sometimes. When the guys are
Mhm.
hot and they're hitting, it's great.
Mhm.
But for when they're not, they're not. And the Hornets are the same exact way. I also feel like
Mhm.
the Hornets are a little more scrappy, whereas though the Heat might be a little more fundamentally sound. So I
Mhm.
could see the advantages there.
Yeah.
Um, Talk to me about the Heat and Eric Spoelstra's coaching. What specifically do you notice about that? And then we'll move on to the next matchup.
Sure. Well, first, you think we can get another 80 from Bam? What you think?
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
absolutely. Just kidding.
So,
Sorry,
with
man.
the Heat, obviously, Spo has been there, done that, right? He's been around this organization for I think every championship they've gotten, right? They have 5 finals runs and 3 chips. And so I think he's been a part of the organization all that time. Obviously, he was the head coach for 4 of them. He's got the experience. He knows what to do. And his X's and O's are up there with some of the best in the league. And so I believe that, I believe it's my personal opinion that he is going to scheme up and it's going to be a real bad defensively for LaMelo Ball. And I think if you can really take LaMelo Ball out of the game, and maybe because of Con Knippel's shooting, you don't completely take him out of the game, but you make it tough on him.
Mhm.
And it should be easy work for the Heat against the Hornets.
Who's guarding LaMelo?
I think what you do is just because of the size, you would start off with a Tyler Hero. But what I notice in the modern game, it's not so much, and this drives me crazy. There's not
Mhm.
so much this is your matchup, guard your matchup. But if you're a smart coach, X's and O's wise, and you know this being a defender, they
Mhm.
find ways to throw different looks at players because if you have a player that can go off offensively, you don't want to give him a steady diet of the same thing, right?
Right.
Unless that defender is super elite. You don't want to give him a steady diet. So you find different ways to throw different things at him, different traps, double teams, different switches if you have the personnel coming from different angles, and you really make that tough. I always go back to what Ime Udoka did to Kevin Durant when he was coaching in Boston and KD was in Brooklyn, just throwing all types of different traps and switches at him from different angles. And also, we know that Miami is kind of old school in their mentality, and in the playoffs, the refs are tending to swallow the whistles more. So you bump LaMelo around, get a little physical with him. I think you get him right out of his game.
Absolutely. That physicality. It really comes down to physicality with this matchup. And I think that if the Heat are playing at that level offensively, I can still see the Hornets being a bit disruptive
See
defensively
that?
to knock them off. They're gonna have to take away Tyler Hero. And
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I would focus on taking away Tyler Hero first before I'm taking away Bam, to be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
and Norman Powell though. I've seen when Norman Powell was on the Clippers in his playoff run, he still was averaging 20 something points. He wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
hiding from what I
Right.
remember. He was
Right.
still
Right.
yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna go with the Heat. I'm still gonna go with the Heat. I'm staring at the Hornets, but I'm gonna go with the Heat because I haven't seen them in this light, just like you said. But we've seen the Heat in this situation before. Okay, for the Magic and the Sixers. Now this is hard. This is tough for me because the Magic have been very lackluster. Paolo has been probably this is his worst season I've
Mm-hmm.
seen him in a since he's been in the league in terms of expectation. And this Magic team has really struggled to figure it out. And so uh but on the other hand, I look at the Sixers and even with their loss of Joel Embiid, at least for right now, um, I have confidence in the Sixers against this Magic team, because this Magic team doesn't require you to do the little things. But
Mm,
if the Sixers are heading in against the Heat and the Hornets, I would be slightly worried for them. And then if they were to make it all the way out of that, and if they were to beat the Magic, right, and make it to the
mm,
Celtics, I'm scared for them. If they were to lose to the Magic and go to the play-in, I'm scared for them.
mm.
And then face the Pistons, I'm super scared for them. So,
Right.
and this is with Joel Embiid or without Joel Embiid, I'm still nervous for them. I have been very disappointed in Nick Nurse and what he's done with the Sixers basketball. I
Mhm.
think he's relied too heavily on his superstars that they gave all this money. And it was kind of foreshadowed when they did give Paul George as much money as they gave him. But I've said this before, Paul George is gonna have to score 40 points, Joel Embiid's gonna have to score 28, Max is gonna have to give 30 something, and VJ's gonna have to get 20 something for them to win. It's gonna be a sloppy win. But who sees Paul George scoring 40-point games in the playoffs? Let's be for real. Do you still have him doing that?
No, no, that's not playoff P. That's not happening. No, I don't see it. And then Embiid, he's out indefinitely. He just got his appendix removed. Like that's another. I don't, man. These guys, man. I've never seen anything like it, man. And I know, it sounds like old man, get off my lawn, but the era that I grew up watching the NBA and the guys were so much tougher, and I can't figure out what is going on here. And people
Mhm.
have different reasons and whatnot, and some of them are valid, some of them are not. But in just a way more physical era, guys were consistently playing 75, 80, 82 games. So it's just wild to me. So I wouldn't even think about Embiid. It's right. It's gonna have to be all about, like you said, Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And those are three really good, players, but Paul George, he probably is gonna get nicked up at some point. So it's oh man. But I think they have enough to get past Orlando. I don't know what is going on with Orlando. I don't know what happened to Paolo. He just fell off a cliff, and it was real disappointing to me because I don't know, I foresaw very wrongly big things for him this season. So I don't know, man.
It's his shot selection, his efficiency. He's not making baskets. And
Mm-hmm.
then Jalen Suggs. I mean, Desmond Baines. I guess he's saving them a little bit, but I don't even want to fully give him the credit. And then they
Mm-hmm.
lost Wagner, at least Franz, and his brother has
Mm-hmm.
come to supplement it in some type of capacity. But
Right.
they had so many pieces last year, the year before, and they just
Mm-hmm.
keep continuing to fumble the bag. I mean, that coach might have to count his days.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Definitely expected more.
Nino, welcome
Desmond
to the
Bain probably
chat.
looking.
Oh, sorry.
Nino,
Go
what up? No, I
ahead.
said Desmond Bain probably looking like, man, I should have stayed where I was.
Literally, if I was Desmond Bain, I'd be like, bro, take me back to Memphis. And
Yeah.
because, like, imagine Ja getting out of there and he would still be there. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'd be like, take me back to Memphis. Um,
Right.
we got Cottage in the chat. So many people commenting. Keep dropping your takes. We love to hear from you. Basketball taught me how to love, so I made a channel about it, and now we're here talking. And I really appreciate everyone, their support and your love. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like, share this out. And we got Bruce here from the Format Podcast, special guest star tonight. And it's been tough. We already like 40 minutes in on this. All right, let's keep moving because we got a really good show. This next segment is like super exciting, but I want to wrap up with the Eastern side on who's going to
Right.
make it out the first round and into the second round even. Let's look at the Raptors Knicks series.
Yeah.
Currently, so
Yeah.
far, things could possibly change, but playoff picture right now is Knicks and Raptors.
Nick's good, Bree. Nick's good.
Knicks making it to the second round. Out the first,
Yeah.
they gonna beat it. So say for example, the Magic, because it's looking like the Magic are 45 and 36. I think they play tonight or tomorrow. And what if the Raptors lose again? Do they play tomorrow? Hold on, let me just double check. But go ahead.
You do that. You do that. I'm checking something real quick.
Okay, so Magic tomorrow will play the Celtics, and then the Raptors play tomorrow, and they play the Nets. So if the Raptors were to win and the Magic were to win, it would make them both 46 and 36. So but I still think the Raptors would have that seeding over the Magic. But if the Magic were to lose, no, if the Raptors were to lose and the Magic were to win, then the Magic would end up seeing the Knicks.
Mm.
And then the Raptors would play the Sixers. So I'll just go with what the playoff picture is right now, because the Raptors play the Nets, by the way, and then the Magic play the Celtics. So
right,
big deal. I gotta look at the injury report, because I know the Jaylen Brown did not play in the last game. Are they
I
going
don't
to
think he's.
potentially sit Jason, or is he not?
Yeah, I don't think Tatum, Brown, or Derek White are playing tomorrow. I think I saw that. Yeah. So I think they're contented with where they are, and I guess they probably feel like they've got number 2 sewn up. So, yeah.
They do got Orlando, the draft odds. They got DraftKings odds. Orlando at negative 10.5 to win. Now, if they don't win, that's insane. Because I'm not gonna lie, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Garza, Hugo Gonzalez, what was that name? Strymon? Yo was cooking.
Shyman.
Cooking. Yo, where did that come from?
That's that lefty jumper.
Oh
You
my
knocked that thing down.
gosh.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not losing hope. Hasser, listen. Talk about fundamental wins every time. If there's ever a debate about do you want to go with the most athletic player or the most fundamental player, I'm just saying this Celtics team might have you reconsidering if you're an athletic person.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking, they said that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or even just one of those guys' salary alone, doesn't even equal the amount of salary that Peyton, Luke Garza, and Hasser, all those guys are getting paid combined. Still don't equal that much. And look at how they're hooping.
Yeah, it's like between Brown and Tatum is like $630 million. Just between those two.
That's more than $500 million.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But Raptors, as much as I love Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram has had one of the better seasons, and we'll get to him next segment. One of the better seasons we've seen from him in a while on this Raptors team. Definitely a step up from his stint in or New Orleans. I just think that they don't have what it takes to make it out the first round, no matter who they see. Even with the Knicks and some of the issues I have with them, they do continue to surprise me and kind of shut my mouth on some of the questionable tactics of Mike Brown. Because I do question his offense at times. But they shut me up the other night watching them against the Celtics, to be honest. They looked like they looked really good.
So it's funny that you say that, because the Knicks are number 3 in the league in offensive efficiency. Like, that's a really good offensive team. Clearly they're not as good defensively as they were with Tibbs, but I mean, this could work out. And I got to give credit where it's due, because I thought it was a big mistake firing Tibbs and bringing in Mike Brown, because I didn't see Mike Brown as being a big step up. Like, if you're going to fire a guy who got you to your first conference finals in a quarter century, you got to get somebody that should be able to take you over the hump. And I don't think Mike Brown could do it, but he's doing his thing. So shout out to him. And shout out to the Knicks. Obviously, I want to see the Celtics do what they do, but shout out to Mike Brown, man. He's making it happen.
The only reason I question Mike Brown at times is because we seen like the production between Cat and Jaylen Brown begin to decrease for a brief second, and I think it's because they were adjusting to the Mike Brown system, and I also don't like how they underutilize Mikal Bridges. And now it's led to this conversation or narrative about Mikal not actually being that good. And so, and that frustrates me a little bit, because we're talking about a guy who was averaging 20-something points with the Nets. Like, he was their guy. So he showed us before that he can be that guy. So I guess I would wonder why he decided to take such a back seat on this Mike Brown offense. Now, granted, OG Anunoby's been playing some of the best basketball we've seen, but I think when we look at these guys and what they do for a system, arguably like a Nikola, if you have a system that's set up for you to win, then it's up to you to win, and OG is stepping up. But if you put Mikal in that same position they got OG right now, I think he would just do the same. He would thrive just like OG is. So that's where That's where I struggle with the Mike Brown system at times.
Right.
I mean, I love it though. I love what they're doing. I definitely, if Mitchell Robinson is doing more than just offensive rebounding, then the Knicks are scary good.
Yeah.
But Jordan Clarkson gets in and throws up the most egregious bricks I've ever seen. Not ever, because I've seen Patrick Beverley play in real life times. But I'm talking off the side of the backboard 3 from the top of the key. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it scares me. They got Deuce. I got faith in Deuce, but after Deuce, they don't really play Jose Alvarado. And if you look at the East, they're big. Look at the West, they're big. There's not too many small teams. So when are they going to give Jose another opportunity? So that's just what makes me nervous, too.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Real quick, going back to Toronto,
yeah.
They quietly, I do think that the Knicks will beat them, but they quietly get a lot of production from their top 3. Brandon Ingram, like 22 a game. Scotty Barnes, 19 a game. I'm sorry, Scotty Barnes, 18 a game. RJ Barrett, 19 a game. Like, that's about 60 points from those 3. That's really good. So if everybody else can kind of just come along, they can be competitive on, against the Knicks. I don't think they have enough to beat them with the way the Knicks play offense. And is it me, or does Josh Hart always somehow manage to make a big back-breaking shot? He's good for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's not a back-breaking shot, it's an offensive rebound putback layup.
Yes.
Yes. Like with 10, 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter, puts him up by 1 or 2. Yes. And it's after he done played 40-something minutes. I mean, this guy got legs for days.
Yeah, no, his conditioning is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But like you said, the Raptors, sneaky good. One of my favorites. I love Scotty Barnes. I think he doesn't get enough credit. And they've been sitting quietly at 4th and 5th. They're recently at the 6th, but they've been up there top 5, top 6 for the entire regular season, and it was not talked about enough. And so, isn't enough for the playoffs against this Knicks team? No. Now, if they were to drop down into play-in, now this is where the conspiracy theories can come into play. What if they were to lose against the Nets just to get themselves away from playing the Knicks? Do you think that's something that they would do? Is that too much thinking? Am I doing too much? And then they could then face the Sixers I mean, not saying they don't have what it takes. Like, why would anyone lose to think that they have a better chance?
But then what would so if they get in against the Sixers, I think they would beat the Sixers. But then what's the consolation prize? You still end up having to play the Pistons
or the Celtics. True, they would play Celtics.
Okay, there you go. Pardon me.
Yeah.
So you still don't end up any better off in terms of your opposition. So I would say, stick there with the Knicks, play them. Yeah.
Stick it out with the Knicks. What do you see that series going to?
6. Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6, yeah.
I would see a sweep on that one.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Toronto got a little something. I think they have a little something. And that's not gonna allow them to get swept. I see 6.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Cavaliers and Hawks. Now, I think this is the matchup that's pretty much solidified. With these two teams. Well, the Hawks have to beat Miami. They have to beat them to super secure their 5th position. If not, they could be at risk of they would have and then it would depend on if the Raptors would have beat the Nets too, if they could switch that seeding, and the Raptors can end up seeing the Cavs and the Hawks can end up seeing the Knicks, and that changes a lot of our conversation. But as it is right now, with this Cavalier versus Hawks team, I think it comes down to if the Hawks have to give so much energy on defense, they would have to continue to press the gas offensively against the Cavaliers. And that's what I think they have their advantage over them. But it wasn't too many guys that I could see that could stop Spider. I mean, they had Jonathan Kuminga on them at one point, Dyson Daniels on them at one point. Jalen Johnson was on them because they have to switch everything. And Spider was cooking all of them. And so I think the Hawks have one of the most talented backcourts or guards, players, young guys that we've seen here in the East or even in the entire league, in my opinion. and the Cavs definitely fought. Kenny Atkinson, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden are all guys who showed us the postseason is very difficult for them. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with all of that in mind, I could see this series going all the way to 7
Can
if it were
you?
to be the Hawks and Cavs. Yes.
I believe it. I got the Cavs in 5.
Okay.
Not that I'm a believer in the Cavs past this particular series, but I have them. I think there's too much playoff experience there, and just a really good head coach. I think that, especially in the NBA, head coaching really well. In the playoffs, coaching matters, but obviously we know the NBA is like a superstar league, right? So if you have those players, then you don't need it as much. But in the playoffs, those adjustments matter. And the Hawks, again, I think youth and experience also matters, unless you have some like transcendent superstar like a Wemby or something like that. And the Hawks don't have that. Shout out Jaylen Johnson, who's really, really good, but he's not a Wemby, right? So no, I got the Cavs in 5. I think they're just, I think they're far superior, and that's going to carry them.
We got some comments in the chat. YH Sports Entertainment Pod, they have their own podcast as well. Go check out their channel. They said, I want to see the Hawks and Knicks. I actually, to be honest, I would rather see Hawks and Knicks than I would Hawks and Cavs, because we've seen that matchup twice this week. It was fun, but to see the Hawks and the Knicks, that would be kind of fun too. But the let's see, we got more chat in the chat. We'll do one more with them. If it's Cavs and Hawks, Cavs and 7, Raps and Cavs, Cavs and 6. I mean, Raptors and Cavs.
Interesting.
Okay. I guess say for instance, the Celtics beat the Sixers and they move on, and the Knicks beat the Raptors, they would then move on to play the Knicks and the Celtics. We would see that rematch again. What you feeling?
So I got to go Celtics here, but it won't be easy.
Bruce, unbiasedly, or Bruce? This is a Celtics fan, by the way. Yeah, just want to throw that out there, y'all.
Yes, and I try to be objective. I do, but no, I'm going to go with the Celtics here. I truly believe they're the best team in the East. Tatum rounding back into form. Jaylen Brown been an MVP caliber player all year, and that cast of guys they have around them. They have shooters, they have defenders. Like, the Celtics aren't missing anything that if they're healthy, they can't get out of the East. That said, clearly the Knicks are a tough matchup for them. The Knicks took the season series against them. We just saw the Knicks beat them the other night. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was missing. But the other time that the last time they played the Knicks before that, Jaylen Brown played, and the Knicks still beat them. So we got to give credit there where it's due.
We do. But when I watched these games, though, they were really close. For one, well, the second one more so. No, they were close, and Jason Tatum had just came back, right?
No, this was his first game against the Knicks since he went down, I think.
Oh,
I don't think he played him twice.
See, that's another thing to take into consideration too. Full health Celtics. The reason that the Knicks beat the Celtics in this last matchup was because of those clutch shots by Josh Hart. If Josh didn't hit those shots, it would have been curtains for them.
Right.
I mean, watching the game is innocent in totality. I think what I would say there was a lot of, I would say Jason Tatum did not show up how he should have showed up, to be honest. And that worries me sometimes about Tatum.
I would disagree with you on that because you're looking at points, but Tatum has been double-figure rebounds since he came back. And I think he got, let me double check this.
But here's the thing about the rebounds in the Celtics. Jason Tatum gets that many rebounds because they clear it out. That's just how they roll. Like, he's always usually there solo grabbing those boards, to be honest. That's just the way the Celtics run. Also, despite his points and him not really being effective scoring, they need that. But I think he took some silly shots low key, and we saw him go downhill a little bit. And it didn't land, and he was frustrated, very slow to get back. That worried me. And then Mitchell Robinson. Why was Mitchell Robinson so dominant? He has way more confidence over Kid. He was whooping Kita's butt Like,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen Kidda going crazy this past month. Why is it
Yeah.
you get against Mitchell Robinson? This is a really good matchup between you two. I
Mm-hmm.
would say Kidda could be better than Mitchell, but
Right.
we didn't see that. So that
Yeah.
worried me too.
Yeah, no, you make a bunch of fair points. I'm looking at, because I watched the game, but I'm looking at Tatum's stat line here. 24 points on 7 of 22, not good. 2 of 10. And one of the big issues I have with Tatum, as good a player as he is, there's a lot of times where he will bail the defense out by taking early in the shot clock threes, or just take threes when he could take his guy and go to the rim. Now, he might have an excuse now because he may not still be completely confident in that, Achilles. So
Right.
I'll give him that. But I mean, even in that game, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Now, we don't like the 6 turnovers, obviously, but he's distributing. Guys are making shots. He's hitting the glass. So I'm okay with it. But obviously, I think they need their full complement, because when he's healthy and they got Jaylen Brown, that's a vicious 1-2 punch. And the Knicks are a tough matchup, but I don't think the Knicks would beat them if they play them again. And also, there's also the mental piece of the Celtics going into the playoffs last year were the defending champs, and they go against the Knicks and the Knicks knock them out. So then there's always that little thing of, okay, we got to get our get back. So, yeah.
Right. And honestly, to wrap it all up, I'd take Missoula over Mike Brown any day.
Yeah, I'd
If
say
we're
so.
talking playoff coaches. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely I'm standing by Missoula.
Mm-hmm.
He's my coach of the year, but I know JB definitely earned that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All great stuff. Really enjoyed that. And obviously we'll do more playoff talk as we near. But we spent a really good amount of time on that. We'll go. We did. Okay. We'll move on to the bleacher. I'm sorry, Bruce.
All
I
good,
wanted to
baby.
hear
All
your
good.
thoughts. We're
No,
gonna move on, y'all.
appreciate it.
This is really what I've been most excited to talk about, and it's the Bleacher Report's overrated list. Now, when it comes to these media conglomerates and their attempts and I do want to meet the teams behind all of these posts, and if they decide, are we going to troll them today, or are we actually going to release some facts? You feel what I'm saying? But Jaylen Brown was listed in their top 10 list of overrated players in the league. I wanted to start off with what defines an overrated player, like start there, and then talk about this list specifically.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
and I want to read what the Bleacher Report said before we talk about, maybe you and I decide just between us in this conversation. And feel free to chime in, chat. Always feel free to chime in. We want to hear you. They said that this 2025-26 NBA campaign is nearly wrapped. You're going to hear and read loads of praises and adulation for some of the game's biggest stars, but that's not what you're going to find here. A handful of the league's biggest, or at least bigger, names have not performed up to the level of their reputations. We're going to shine a spotlight on them. Now, if you have much experience with my list, you're used to seeing a ton of numbers or some wacky formula driving the ranks. This exercise requires pure subjectivity.
I mean, that's okay. That's how lists are.
Yeah. Now, they said this is really no way to objectively measure how a player is rated by the fans and media. That makes determining whether a player is overrated or how overrated reliant on opinion. And the opinion has to be formed on a case-by-case basis. So then they go into explanations of each of their people. All right. So for us, I guess we could go like them. Subjectively speaking, Bruce.
Yes.
How would we define an overrated player?
Man, I mean, I don't think it's got to be that complicated, right? It's a player that you have big expectations for, both individually and in terms of team success, and he just doesn't deliver that for whatever reason. Now, sometimes there's different, contextual pieces or, nuance, whatever you want to say, that affect that. But in general, we can kind of get an idea of who is overrated. And sometimes the stats don't even match up to somebody being overrated. But when the expectations are there and they don't deliver at all, I think we can say overrated.
Absolutely. And I'm right on board with you for overrated. That's pretty much a solid definition, foundation that we can lay for what an overrated player is. So now that we've decided that, let's move on to what Bleacher Report released as their overrated. I don't even know if I want to start it with number 10 because number 10 is to me the most controversial. But you know what? Let's just start there. Number 10, Jaylen Brown. Bleacher Report has listed Jaylen Brown as top 10, number 10 overrated players in the league. And they said Jaylen Brown is likely to make first team All-NBA, and his Boston Celtics have annihilated expectations. But media members, and they put with votes, explanation point, have campaigned for him to be MVP, which is frankly bonkers. Brown is 29th in estimated wins. Has been one of the very least efficient shooters in the NBA and has a negative net rating swing, meaning Boston's point differential is actually better when he's out of the game. Bruce, as a Boston fan, what are your thoughts? Well, not even a Boston fan, because obviously you watch the game, so there's some biases, but you have had eyes on this. Talk to me.
I'm gonna keep it simple, Bree. This is where I don't doubt that they pulled their analytics and all that, but we know like analytics, these people can make analytics say whatever they want them to say. Are we really going to say that the Celtics are worse with Jaylen Brown? When we found out Tatum was likely to miss the season, myself included, but most people thought this was going to be a throwaway year for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown pretty much just carried them to the second overall seed, had the best season of his life. And they're saying he's one of the least efficient shooters. He's like 48% from the field this year. Like, but you know what? I think they're basing maybe that on the type of shots he takes because he lives in the mid-range, right? Mm-hmm. Almost as much as SGA. And we know that these analytics nerds hate the mid-range shooting. And so I think that is coming into play. But I'm not even going to get upset. I know after seeing a few of the Bleacher Report lists this season, I know what they do. They make these lists and they say these absurd hot take things to get us to talk about it. And here we are talking about it, Bree. But yeah, I think that's crazy to put Jaylen Brown on an overrated list.
That's fair. Now, I'm not agreeing that Jaylen Brown is overrated. However, so I am more on the side of I think it's more Mazzulla and his team that are the reason that they are so good, and Jaylen Brown definitely helped sustain it. But I would argue that the system was so phenomenal because you can put a really good guy on a team and he could do really good, but will the team do really good? And that's coming from someone who was really good in college and our team still wasn't good. So what did that say about me? Now, for Jaylen Brown's case, his team is really good and he's really good. So that's awesome. But it's the type of men that he has around him that blows my mind. I mean, Peyton Pritchard is 6'2". It just blows my mind, Bruce. So I get it. Jaylen Brown definitely is cool. But if I were to hear someone who agreed with this overrated take, I would listen a little bit like, well.
I would not.
He's not overrated. Trust me. I don't think he's overrated. I mean, he's been in MVP runnings. Like you said, his stats are crazy. He's a phenomenal basketball player. When he shows up, he's competitive. He will guard the best player on the other team.
I think he's the second best two-way player in the game right now.
Second best? Who's first? Shay?
Wemby?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's
so you
Wemby.
Got JB over Shay? I might be getting a little off topic here, but you got JB over Shay?
As a two-way player, yeah, he's a better defender. Yeah. SGA is obviously, he's a better offensive player by a little bit, but JB is the better defender. So yeah.
The better defender.
I mean, we saw JB lock up Luka in the finals, right? Just saying.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Topic for another day.
Yep. Okay. We got T's in the chat. What's up, T? I like JB as a better two-way also.
See?
I like
your chat.
Okay. Let's move on to number 9. Kyle Kuzma. I absolutely agree with this. Wasn't too crazy when I seen it, but him at number 9 and John Morant at number 8, I think was insane. I think John Morant should have been number 10. Honestly, it's the order that really bugs me about this list, not so much about who's on it.
Yeah. So here's the question for you. Here's a question for you.
I mean, not number 10. I think John Moran should be number 1. I'm sorry. Like, if they were going in
Okay.
order from like most overrated to least overrated, John Moran should be number 1. So what's
Okay.
your question?
Yeah. My question is, what is bothering you about Kyle Kuzma being here? Because I'll tell you what bothers me. But what is your issue with Kyle Kuzma?
My issue with Kyle Kuzma is, I would say, consistency to start. And I think he had an opportunity, not just when he was on his Bucks team, but and we're talking about just this season, but it has not changed over the years. And this is my main issue with him, is he was on the Wizards team. He's had multiple opportunities to be that guy, and he still has not done it. And I mean, he was on that Lakers team that won the chip. I don't know if and I know some players aren't good leaders. Kyle Kuzma is definitely one of those. But for you to get paid or have these expectations set on you based on what you've showed us that you can do. I mean, it was one game, didn't he almost have like 50 points this season? That one game he went on a heater.
Most NBA players
why does he Yeah, okay, that's true. But why does he disappear? Why does he disappear? Like, where do you go, bro? What is going on? Is it your youth? I don't want to put it on that. Like, do you need to be around leaders in order for you to thrive? I'm not looking at a teammate on the team as a weaker person because you need someone to lead you. But you've been the first, second option. I don't remember the last time I seen you as a third, fourth option. You feel what I'm saying? He's always been like that top 3.
So
and he does not show up.
So the reason I asked you that, Bree, I don't think Kyle Kuzma is overrated at all, because he's not rated. Nobody expected this dude to do anything. So to put him on an overrated list, I'm like, please.
Got you.
Sneed's got it. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. Yeah, I don't know why Kyle Kuzma is there. Seriously, did you expect anything from Kyle Kuzma coming into this season? I didn't.
I drafted him on my fantasy team. I did.
Oh, maybe you did.
I did. We've seen him do things that gave him potential to be a star. Repeatedly. No?
I wouldn't say star.
Kyle Kuzma?
No. I'd say he's solid on a bad team in Washington. Nah, not a star, not at all.
Okay.
I think he's a modern NBA wing. He can shoot it. He can go in the post a little bit. He can handle it. He's a modern NBA wing. I don't think he's anything special.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I see what you're saying, but I see what you're saying, Bruce. I'm willing to concede. You won't hear me say that often. It was such a good point, though. You're right. Like, overrated. This is true. Why is he even on the list?
Right.
Okay. Let's keep going. Ja Morant, number 8. Is he overrated, or did we not expect? Because I've seen many people say this is gonna be Ja's year.
Who said
this
that?
Is his comeback year.
I don't know. I don't. That's another one. Like, I don't want to like crap on the dude, but he may have blown it. He may have blown it in the league, and I'm not sure he can get it back. We'll see, but I'm just not sure he can.
Yeah. All right, number 7, Jonathan Kuminga. I'm kind of surprised to see this. It actually, for him to be considered overrated, I think he's one of the most aggressive guards in the league. He's one of the most fearless guards in the league. And I think it was Steve Kerr that tried to ruin Jonathan Kuminga for whatever reason. And so I don't think he's getting a fair shake being on this list.
Right.
Look at what he's doing on the Hawks. When you watch Jonathan Kuminga play, do you think he can be stopped? Who can stop him?
Yeah, and so this is one of those situations where we talk about the fit and the scheme, right? The fit and the scheme, and somebody being where they need to, and also maybe something as simple as a coach having confidence in them and allowing them to play.
Sneed got what you need.
We know he can shoot something, Sneed. Maybe not basketball though. But no, Kuminga, I think we got hints in Golden State of what he can do, but to your point, For whatever reason, Steve Kerr didn't want him to do it. Now he gets to Atlanta, and it's like he gets what do you call it? He gets
Freedom?
okay, yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, he gets freedom, and he's able to just kind of go out there and play. So, I don't know where. I don't think he's overrated, and I'm not sure what Bleacher Report was.
So what they said here is Kristaps Porzingis came with his own issues, mostly health related, but it's starting to get harder and harder to call that trade a win for the Hawks. Jonathan Kuminga desperately wanted a new situation, but he's averaging fewer minutes than he did as a Golden State Warrior, and his rebound and assist rates are too low to garner any of the star level consideration Kuminga is after. This guy clearly is getting paid by Steve Kerr to make this list. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
He's on Steve Kerr's team.
Atlanta. Yeah, he plays about a minute and a half less in Atlanta. That is weird.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at the rotations they're trying to figure out. In my opinion, I think they're trying to just figure it out because you have a guy like CJ McCollum who started off as a 2 guard. Then when he got to New Orleans, went to a 1 guard. Not gonna really count Washington; it was very short lived. But now he's here on the Hawks, and I just feel like with Jalen Johnson's ability to kind of be their ball handler, playmaker. They're trying to just figure these guys. They're trying to figure out what's the best place to have all these guys rotated because they still want to keep Dyson on the floor. They still, you know what I mean? Like, so that's 4 guys right there in between 3 positions that they're trying to work out. So, I mean, I would just say give it some more time. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I can't forget about Nickeil. You feel me? So now we just got all these guys that pretty much are the same height, do the same things. You got to figure out where to put them.
Yeah, you're right. And Ricochet, yeah, they got a lot of similar type of dudes. And that helps on defense, but not necessarily offensively.
Right. All right. We pretty active in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a like if you're digging the content. Right now we're talking about Bleacher Report's overrated list. There's a couple in here that we actually might agree with coming up here. Like, we're gonna leave Draymond Green alone. And we're going to go to number 5, Sabonis. I actually agreed with this.
We know Sabonis could play. I think the problem is that for the things that he can do, it doesn't lead to wins. And so if you want to say because of that, he's overrated, I guess I couldn't argue, right? I don't know. There's certain teams that just can't get right. Sacramento, for most of its existence, has been that. And they've had some serious players, right? Even if you go back to the 90s, Mitch Richmond, like Sacramento has had some players. And then obviously, C-Webb and those guys and couldn't get over the hump, even though they made it to the conference finals. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know.
It is a tough one. I mean,
Sacramento is.
I have no idea. And with Sacramento, they put so much on the line for DeMar and even Zach LaVine, giving Russ a chance. They got rid of Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder. They said goodbye to them. And then Keegan Murray. Honestly, Keegan Murray should be on this list. But was he expected to do great? I mean, this is another one where it's like, were we expecting him to be great? But yeah. Okay, they have Dylan Brooks on here. I'm not going to really touch too much on Dylan. Number 3 is Paolo, and we talked about him a little earlier. Is Paolo overrated, or is he just lost? Can we put him in do we have to call him overrated yet, or like can we still have a little hope in Paolo?
2 things can be true. I think based on this year and what a lot of people, myself included, thought that he was going to be coming into this season with the Orlando. We thought he was going to be better than this and do more than what we're seeing. So I'm not upset if anyone says that he's overrated. With that said, if you actually look at his numbers, he's averaging like 22 and 8. So those aren't bad numbers. It's just we expected kind of more of an uptick and we expected the team to be better. So it's a kind of weird in the middle situation. So I'm not mad at anyone who says he's overrated because I had him as really a breakout player this year, but I can also get why somebody would say that he is.
I mean, aside from his points, though, what's really bothering people is his plus or minus, and
Mhm.
he's averaging 3 turnovers per 75 possessions. So even
Oof,
though, yeah,
that's bad.
exactly. So, and even though we know we've heard people say a guy who handles the ball the most, having like around 3 turnovers is frankly quite like normal, but that's like an
Mhm.
average.
Yeah.
So, um, this is great point, Sneed. Paolo disappears in key moments of games. And quite frankly, Jalen Suggs and Desmond Bain we've seen them step up
Mhm.
and do some crazy things to win a game, but they don't have what it takes to keep it's supposed to be Paolo's team. He's the one who
Yeah,
got the opening night bobblehead,
for sure. For
you
sure.
know? So,
And even though the numbers aren't bad, he's down from 26 a game last year to 22 a game this year. So that's a drop off. It's not what
huge
you're
drop.
expecting.
4.
The
It's
rebounds
diff
went up.
it's different than a Jalen Brunson who started the season averaging 30 points and now he's averaging 26.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm like, okay, some offensive adjustments clearly have been made.
Yeah.
But with Paolo, it's not necessarily offensive adjustments. This guy is just he's somewhere. He's
Yeah.
he's he's losing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 2, they got Norman Powell, and then at number 1, they have Brandon Ingram. Are you shocked to see these 2 individuals on the list?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, these are situations of what was expected of these players. 2, I think Brandon Ingram is having a very solid year, but he is probably facing that the Toronto torture, right? When you're up there, obviously it's far removed as a media market. You don't get as much attention. So it's very easy to just look at stats and people aren't seeing what you're doing. But Ingram, solid year.
Yeah, I would have to agree. What about and then Norman Powell? Is it because he led the Clippers in points last year that they had such high expectations for him with
Mhm.
this Heat team? And
Yeah,
I haven't even looked at Norman. I haven't been every time I seen the Heat play, he was not playing, by the way.
that is a good
He
point.
just so
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
be
that's
out there.
weird.
I
Let's
don't
see.
see him out there.
Let's see how many games he's played this year.
But that's also why when I look at this
57.
Heat team, okay, that's not a lot. When I look at this Heat team, that's what makes them a wild card for me because I really feel like we barely can ever see the Heat at full health. There's
Mhm,
always somebody out, always. So I'm like,
mhm.
when I watch them, I'm like, that's probably why they have some of their struggles as well.
Yeah,
But I'm excited to see Norman Powell in playoffs.
yeah.
He's not hurt right now, is he? He good?
No, the funny thing is across the board, his numbers are all the same or slightly better than last year.
Exactly.
I'm like,
That's
okay,
what's
well, where's
killing me.
Bleacher Report? Is they got to be the worst list maker in major media. They're terrible.
They are. They really
Mhm.
are. The main reason I wanted to talk about the Bleacher Report list is namely for Jaylen Brown. I just think this is another shot from the media, and he's just a guy who just has to constantly overcome. And it seems like each year there's a reason why it can't be his year, even though he's worked to make it his year. And it just seems like JB has a chip on his shoulder. And will
Oh,
he
yeah,
satisfy that chip in the playoffs,
yeah.
or I would hope I would love to see Celtics go really far. I do. I
Me
really
too.
enjoy their team.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, okay. All right. We're gonna move on,
I agree.
folks.
All
We
right.
appreciate you staying with us for this hour 18 minutes. It's a late night show. I'll try to keep the rest of it condensed. We're gonna spend a little time with this WNBA topic with their latest transactions, some few big trades that are shaking up the league. I mean, as these teams are forming, the regular season for the W starts April 25th. And then in May, the first week of May, we have the first game of the regular season. With the 2 expansion teams, we talked about the draft, but there have been some big moves made for teams that are kind of shockers. I'm kind of shocked, not only about players getting traded or signing on, but even re-signs to certain teams. Let's start off with Skylar Diggins getting signed to the Chicago Sky. And she even made an Instagram post saying how excited she is about it. Now, we know the Chicago Sky just lost Angel Reese.
Mhm.
And Ariel Atkins is now not on this team anymore. She will be on the Sparks. So she's gone. But the Sky have gotten Azare Stevens. They got the Sky have gotten Azare Stevens and Skylar Diggins. And then I think they got one more person. Let me look it up. I have this transaction list pulled up.
So while you're doing that, I got love for Skylar Diggins. She played for Notre Dame, so always love there. Go Irish. But one thing I heard you talk, Bree, about your thoughts on the Sky moving Angel Reese and saying that you felt it was more of a like a organizational move than an indictment of Angel Reese as a player.
Right.
Can you give me a little bit more on that? I wanted to get your thoughts on that, especially with this WNBA topic.
Absolutely. And just specifically on my comment about their motives or about Angel. So I'm glad you asked, because I didn't get too deep into Angel as a player specifically, and I focused more on the organization and the moves that they made. But this team, I don't think they've had a great year since Shorty was on it. Since they won all those years ago in 2015?
Didn't they win with Candace Parker?
They won with and Kalia Copper.
Okay, there you go.
Right? That was so it's been a while since they've had a really good season. So when they got Angel and Camilla in the draft, it was there were so much high hopes for them.
Yeah.
Then they had a flop season. And we can blame it on injury, sure. But then we come back and the same thing happens again. But this time she gets hurt a little later in the season as opposed to earlier. So what was then the excuse then? And so even with the controversy that they experienced, there was clearly some culture issues going on that team. And Angel being such a prominent media figure, she has the most followers on Instagram. Not saying it matters, but that does matter. She has the biggest following in the league as a whole out of all the ladies. So that means she has the most power and influence on who comes and sits in their stands. However, that doesn't outweigh the game of basketball and the future of the pieces that they were probably building. I also noticed they had a ton of cap space, and that was before the CBA negotiation. So with all those things considered, and as soon as they dropped their player of the year as Camila Cardoza, I was like, oh yeah, it's done. It's curtains for Angel. And what I don't like what the fans do is they tore Camilla down by trying to say Angel's a better player. They did not let Camilla have this moment, or they didn't even, they were just, it was so emotional. So that really bothered me, because despite Angel's cult following and despite the things that she's brought to the game, we can't ignore the fact, that this team was losing. We just can't ignore that fact. And even with her on the court, some could argue, well, they played better, but they lost. Guys, what do you mean played better, guys? They were the second worst team in the league. What do you mean played better? So if you look at two ladies and you're looking at building your future, why would you get rid of Camilla and still hope on Angel when there's already been so much? Just let go of Angel. She's going to bring you more value. Because she has so much following. She has this, she has that, and it's more so about keeping people coming to the games as opposed to winning. No, not for these as much as it is about money, and money is fans coming to the games, but if you're winning, fans are going to come regardless, whether you lose an Angel or not. They were coming to the games before Angel got there. They're going to come to the games after. So we can put stock in it, but at the same time, it's a business, and she's not the only player in the league. And now you have Skylar Diggins. People are going to come to those games.
Thank you.
Did that answer your?
It did. Because when I heard you talk about it, I said I need to ask her about that so I can make sure I get some more clarification. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Real quick before you move on, I know you want to talk about transactions, but still on Angel Reese, wasn't there some controversy with her either last season or after the season ended about, not saying by name, but basically complaining about the team construction, kind of a we need more help type situation? That couldn't have helped, right?
Exactly. And it allegedly she got suspended for it, and not only she was suspended for half a game. So a lot of her fans thought that was embarrassing. Why suspend her for half a game? That was petty. etc., etc. But even with Tyler Marsh in the media, when he was
Mhm.
talking about Angel, and even if it was controversy before she made that comment because they were saying, is she healthy? Can she come back? And what
Mhm.
Tyler Marsh said was, we would love to have her back, but it's up to her. So that
Okay.
then led me to believe, was she holding out from returning because she wasn't even, it kind of fed into the narrative of controversy. Because why
Mhm.
would Tyler, either that or Tyler Marsh is a puppet and he's going to do narratives and be on the side of the organization. But why, as a coach, do you say, it was pretty much saying like, we want her there, but it's really up to her if she wants to come back. Why would you say that? Why not just say she can come back? We about to bring
Right.
her back now. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So then that just kind of fed into the narrative. Will she come back? And then when she
Yeah, I
does come
remember.
back, it's controversy. So
Mhm. Okay.
yeah, I think it's I hope when Angel gets to the dream
Mhm.
that her level of play elevates. She's more efficient around the basket. She has a better shot. And playing for the dream, she might have an opportunity to do that. And she I think Brianna Jones is a better player than Camila Cardosa. So it's gonna be
Okay.
interesting. Brittany Griner is now on the Connecticut Suns. I think it's gonna
Right.
be interesting to see how she plays alongside another big that's better than, I think Brianna Jones is really good, guys. I mean, she grabs boards, she's a rim
Mhm.
protector, she's efficient. She she does a lot of things really well.
Mhm.
Arguably, could she be better than Angel? I would love to see an Angel next to another really good big. And like
Right.
then we can see, let's see Angel's game get exposed, or
Right.
we can see her improve.
Yeah. No, Angel does what she does really well. By the way, I just noticed her brother, undrafted rookie free agent in the league, is averaging like 11 rebounds. So clearly, that's what they
Runs
do
of
in
the
that
family.
family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking at Angel, and I've been wondering since she got into the league, is her focus really on being the best basketball player she can be? Like she's got a lot of
Mm,
other things going on. Now, that said, I also looked at it and said, well, they weren't making that much money playing ball. It's not like the NBA. So if they have an opportunity to get money, off the court through other means, then you probably got to go get that. So I don't know. But anyway, we could do the Angel Reese thing for a while, but let's I know you wanted to continue on with the transactions.
no, I
Sorry about
mean, that's actually a really good point. I mean, do you think that they sacrificed Brittany Griner so that they could pay Angel more because she's more about that than
that. Mm.
actually play? Like, is that? I just want to make sure I understand where you're going with the whole motives of why she's in the league to begin with.
No, I think she loves playing ball. I do
Yeah.
think she's a competitor.
Hmm.
It's my humble opinion, and that she doesn't focus enough on her basketball game, which is really the genesis of how she can do everything else, right? If she
Right.
wasn't a basketball star, you got to wonder would she have all the other influence that she has. But um, I don't know. I feel like she doesn't spend enough time on being a great basketball player, other than the rebounding, right? And so my point with that was at the same time I can't get mad because prior to the new CBA they just signed, there wasn't that much money that she could make on the court. So if
Right.
somebody's giving her money to model or do whatever else she's doing, she has to go get that in order to live a lifestyle that she's comfortable with. So that's
Right.
kind of, yeah, that's where I was.
And so now if she's making more money in the league, she might dedicate more time. She don't have to do those other things, or maybe she'll do it all. And
Yeah.
who says, how they be saying women can do it all nowadays and stuff. But focusing on the basketball aspect of the Sky being a win now team, they desperately needed a leader. And that's what
Mhm.
Skylar Diggins is definitely going to bring. They also needed
Agreed.
more grittiness. I didn't think they were gritty enough. I mean, Ariel Atkins bought that type of, I think Ariel Atkins had her own type of gangster when she needed to, but Sky
Okay.
brings that gangster every game.
Yeah, yeah, no,
I
she's
mean,
tough.
yeah, they needed that badly.
Mhm.
They re-signed Rachel Banham. I think that duo is going to be solid. Um,
Mhm.
and they also still have like I said, they got Camilla, they got Azare Stevens now. And one thing special about Azare is she can do both. I would love to see more of a high-low action between Camilla and Azare, because what
Okay.
the Sparks did with Azare is they moved away from De'Erica Amby and Azare Stevens high-low, and they pushed Azare more out shooting threes. And I think that brought her value down a little bit. And so if we can get her back and more dominant in the paint, this Sky team, they're not going to be at the bottom. That's for sure. They're absolutely not going to be at the bottom come this new season.
Okay.
Okay. Some other notable transactions that happened in the W. For example, Alicia Gray signed her core contract. Ryan Howard signed her contract for the Atlanta Dream. So that team is going to be pretty nasty too. We'll see. We also got the Toronto Temple tendered an offer sheet to Shakira Austin. We know Shakira Austin is currently on the Washington Mystics, and the Portland Fire got Sug Sutton in the selection draft. So they already broken up my beloved Mystics team. That's my team. And so wasn't too worried because they got high placement for the draft, and there are some very good guards on the draft for the WNBA. And so I'm not really worried about them losing Sug, but I would hate to see them lose Shakira too, because Sonia, Kiki Irfan, and there's Jade Melbourne. She's cool, but it was really that three of Jade, Sonia, and Shakira now that Sug is gone. So it's interesting to see the Temple offer Shakira, and I wonder what she's going to do with that. Is there any team in particular that you took a huge liking to, Bruce?
I didn't. So I didn't see anything that really, like, I've been seeing this stuff come across my timeline over the last few days about the big moves, and I really didn't take the time to sit back and really look at the teams and how it was going to affect it. I just looked at the players and said, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Like,
right.
You see like the Aces are loading back up to make another run at it, which, geez, you know what I mean? Re-signed Chelsea Gray, re-signed Jackie Young, like, Jewel Lloyd.
Big
like,
money too.
Yeah, they're
Big
not playing.
money.
The Aces are not joking. They like, yo, that's our chip, and we're not going to over our dead bodies, right? So, just looking at some of the individual moves that are taking place, but for the most part, I haven't like really broken down and examined how that's going to affect, the team, the players leaving, and the team they're going to. Although I see, and we talked about this briefly before you hit the button to start the show, Nneka Ogwumike going back to the Sparks. And you know what I think is part of that there, at least from the Sparks perspective, is that I think she's going to be a great mentor for Cameron Brink.
100%.
I think that's huge. And that's going to help her. Yeah.
That's a huge win. Nneka held the team together for the Seattle Storm. And again, that's another veteran leader, because as much as we love Kelsey Plum, took her a while to adjust with the Sparks team. Adding Nneka on top of it, and Nneka already was playing with a superstar like Skylar, and Kelsey and Skylar are very similar when it comes to what they get to the game.
Yeah,
I'm super excited. Yes, I was nervous at first when and actually Reginald just brought this up, and it's adds to the point, Bruce. He asked, did they finalize the trade between Atkins and Rakia Jackson? Now, if Rakia Jackson were to leave, but they're getting Nneka, I'm not as concerned for the Sparks as I was previously, because I'm like, losing Azare and Rakia was at least their 1-2 scoring option after Kelsey Plum, sometimes before Kelsey Plum. And she's such a talent. So just seeing them, you can see they're also going for size. They want to keep that size. They had size before, and they're keeping with it. So yes, Cameron Brink with Nneka. The one thing about Cameron, she's such a gazelle, and I hope Nneka can help her with this, is reduce her fouling. Cameron likes to foul. She's a fouler.
Oh, all right.
She gets in trouble, and I think she plays great defense, but for some reason the refs love to blow the whistle on Cameron Brink. Cottage said, "Are the Sky overrated? Their new team? No, I don't think they're going to be overrated. In the past, I don't even think they were considered like. I think Angel was overrated. I think she's an overrated player, but she's not on that team no more. So I think in the past as a whole, no, I don't think they were overrated. But for this team now, heck no. They're gonna be cool. I think they at least have they are a win team. They're gonna have a better record this year. Hopefully. Without injury, we'll see. Now, Granted, Skylar Diggins and the Seattle Storm were losers, but that's okay. That was some other stuff going on.
How you gonna call Skylar Diggins a loser, man?
She not a loser,
She
but
went
she
to
was the
Notre
leader
Dame.
of a
She's not a
losing
loser.
team. she not a loser, but I love me some Sky, man. That left hand, come on.
I can't.
All right.
I hope she's still around when Hannah Hidalgo comes in the league. Oh my gosh. I want to see that match. Anyway, sorry.
You see, Sky is fit. She got some
Yes.
years left.
Yes.
That girl works out.
Yeah.
All right. Some other notable transactions, and then we'll move on to the final segment, which is that people's choice topic. I don't want to hold you too late, Bruce. I appreciate you for stepping in.
No
Okay.
doubt.
So that key ejection, there's one more. Oh, Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu have re-signed with re-signed with the New York Liberty, and Satu Sabali has now entered the New York Liberty team. So nasty, because Satu can shoot her butt off, but she also can defend. She's a two-way player, like one of the best two-way players in the league with her size. I'm so excited because she can guard a lot of different individuals. I think they needed like a shooter outside of Sabrina and Stewie. I'm trying to think who else was like shooting cool. I mean, John Quell could sometimes come down and shoot that thing from the three, but
John Quell let it go. She has no conscience.
She literally. I don't know if I think she was on the the free agency, so I think her future is still up in the air with them.
Okay.
But with the with Satu, and then who was their point guard? Natasha Cloud. I think yes, she's still there. And so Natasha Cloud, Satu, Sabrina, and Stewie. John Quell still up in the air.
Not bad.
And it shows the dedication. I really thought Stewie and Sabrina wouldn't I mean, they were definitely devastated when they lost their coach. So I wasn't sure how they were feeling about the organization, but it looks like they're going to end up trusting the process. At the end of the day, they're trusting the process, Bruce.
Are they trusting the process, Bree? Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the New York Liberty with Sabrina, she didn't have one of her best seasons. I mean, she was still a dog, but her her threes were her shooting percentage went down as we went on, and then they just were riddled with injury this year. And like we see John Quell in the postseason just fall asleep. Like I don't like John Quell. You good? Where you go, shorty? You know.
Right.
And so I mean, I'm excited. We know Satu knows what it takes to win. Look how far she came in this past season. So that was a good grab by them. All right. We're gonna wrap up on the WNBA. Any last thoughts?
No. It's gonna be an interesting season for sure.
Awesome.
I think Asia Wilson's got a legit GOAT argument. I just want to see, hopefully somebody challenges her. And I want to see a healthy Caitlin Clark because I really want to see her match up against Paige Beckers. I think, we didn't get to enjoy that last year the way we would have wanted to. And however people may feel about Caitlin Clark, she's good for the league. So,
Yeah. Oh, 100%. She's definitely good for the league. Now, I did see when they were playing Team USA, there was clips of Paige Beckers cooking Caitlin, by the way.
I can see it.
There was also some controversy about Caitlin Clark being on the FIBA basketball team without her actually playing majority of the regular season. Was that fair for her to be on? We'll wrap up with that question, and then we'll move on to the next segment. What do you think, Bruce?
I think they knew they had to do it based on her not making the Olympic team and what a big deal that was to a lot of people. I think they knew they had to do it just because of the name recognition that she carries and the fan base that she brings behind her. I totally get what you're saying. She didn't play most of the way, but has that always been a consideration for whether it's women's or men's basketball making the team, whether or not you played the bulk of the previous season? I don't know.
I mean, look at Joel Embiid. He still made Team USA.
Oh gosh. Okay, I stand corrected.
I mean, to your point, like I never really thought it mattered. So when it was brought up, I started thinking I guess that does matter. Does it? I don't know. Like when it comes to the criteria and how they make their decisions, I guess to go to your point where you said, is Caitlin Clark bad for the league? You think she's not. I think there would be some people who would look at that decision and argue and say that is bad for the league. You
Okay.
have other girls who hustled and put their heart out there. But that's the thing, though. I used to say all the time, I remember there was this one girl I played with in high school, and I'm sorry to this girl, but like, y'all never know who I'm talking about. But I just felt like I just looked at her and I just felt like, damn, like no matter how hard you try, I'm still gonna be better than you. But that's just how life
Yeah,
is.
that
I
that
hate
is
to
how
say
life is,
it.
right?
I hate to
Yeah.
say it.
It doesn't matter
Like,
how hard I work. Like even obviously in my prime, my physical prime, I
yeah,
was never going at 6 feet. I was never going to be Isaiah Thomas. I was never going to be Allen Iverson. Some people are just have gifts that other people don't have,
right. Some people just have that factor and some don't.
and that's
Um,
okay.
and that's
We're all blessed in
okay.
different ways, right? Right.
Right. Right. All right. We're gonna move on.
Right.
All right. Always fun. If you haven't already, smash that like button. And remember, if you know bull, you know ball. All right. You know. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our final topic. I'm super excited because it's back. Every time I have a guest on the show, it's always the people's choice, where we have viewer submitted topics. So I posted on my Instagram, on my TikTok, and my Facebook to ask fans to submit topics. And out of the, I wouldn't say this time it was a lot of topics. I'll keep it a whole being with y'all. But out of the 10 topics that I received, only 4 made the cut for, I just feel like, really fun debate topics that we could have. Some of it's generational and some of it's modern. So I'm excited to have you on here, Bruce, to give your perspective.
Appreciate that. Sure.
People's choice, viewer submitted topics. That first topic on the list. Again, viewers run the show. A fan submitted their topic. They asked, D-Wade or Harden in their prime? And remember, guys, these questions get better as we go. But I wanted to throw this one in there because it was very interesting. D-Wade or Harden in their prime, and specifically talking about offensive and defense. Bruce.
No, this is easy. This is D-Wade.
It is easy, but
yeah. D-Wade plays both sides of the ball. You mentioned it. You kind of buried the lead there with offense and defense. And clearly, D-Wade, okay, statistically, oddly enough, they're very, very close in terms of playoff numbers and elimination game performances. I actually looked that up like a week or two ago. It's a lot closer than you would think, even though D-Wade, from your memory and what you've seen, appears to be the better playoff performer and the better elimination game performer. I think a lot of that, though, is with the injuries later in D-Wade's career, they really like messed with his numbers a lot. Mm-hmm. But remember what the question was: prime D-Wade.
Prime.
Anyone who says they take a prime James Harden over a prime D-Wade, I'm just not going to talk about basketball with them anymore. Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's easy work, I think.
But I mean, to your point about their primes, true. Some would argue longevity, or at least like their whole entire career. We can notably put that James Harden did have a better win percentage than D-Wade. James Harden also is higher than D-Wade on the all-time scoring list.
So, yes, part of that, though, remember, James Harden's absolute peak when he went on that crazy 5-6 year scoring run where he was consistently MVP discussion and whatnot. Remember who his coach was? Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, right.
So that system makes everybody into a monster. That system won Steve Nash 2 MVPs, right? He stole those, but regardless, he got 2 MVPs running that system. It turned Jeremy Lin into Linsanity in New York, running that system. That particular system can really elevate statistical production. So I don't, and I'm not saying James Harden is a bum. I can't say that. That would be totally, disingenuous, flat out dishonest. But to say that he's better than D-Wade, and then also James Harden, one, because of who his coach was, and two, because of who he is, never had to expend any real energy defending. And that will also help you to put up a lot of points.
Okay. What about if we look at honors and awards? Because James Harden got a season MVP while Dwayne Wade has won a finals MVP.
Which one do you think James Harden would prefer?
Say it again?
Which one do you think James Harden would prefer?
Oh, absolutely, the championship finals MVP. I mean, D Wade has 3 chips and Harden has 0.
There you go.
They've played in just about the same amount of seasons in the league as well. James Harden was 17 and Dwayne was 16.
Right.
James Harden has 6 first-time NBA all NBA first teams, and Dwayne has 2. Just looking at accolades, guys, just throwing these out here. Assist leader, James Harden has 2, Dwayne has 0, and then scoring leader, James Harden has 3 and Dwayne has 1. Now, for all defensive selection, like you said, Bruce, Dwayne has 3 and James Harden has 0. Would you argue, looking at these 2 players, this kind of is similar to the conversations we're having today when it comes to comparing players like Joker versus Wemby? Could you say that conversation kind of looks similar, but we're talking about James Harden and Dwayne Wade?
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's a great analogy. It's just so frustrating how, it's so desperate to try and minimize the impact of defense and how important being an elite player on both sides is. We just finished talking about Jaylen Brown a little while ago, right? It's just so frustrating the way they do that, and it I don't know. I get that offense sells tickets. I get it. And, the scoring highlights and all those things. But defense is just as important, right? No rebounds, no rings. And you got to defend to win championships. I mean, we see it when it gets down to the nitty gritty. If you want to win, you're going to play defense. So it's just, I think that most sports, unfortunately, market to, I'm going to use the term loosely, but market to the casual fan, right? Because that's who spends more money, et cetera, et cetera. So, oh, wow. Okay. Barry Hardaway says he's the cousin of Tim Hardaway. Huh. Good to see you. But yeah, so, it's just frustrating to see that defense is so unimportant to so many people. And quick note on this particular question you're asking, I was actually talking, we're going to discuss this on our show tomorrow. Kevin Durant actually had commentary on this, and it drove me crazy. He said a lot worked in D Wade's favor for him to win that championship. I feel like they both are winning players. D Wade didn't have to do as much for the last 2 championships. So Kevin Durant is the last person
to talk about not having to
do so much. Thank you, Bree. Thank you. Like, these people are so unserious.
But I mean, okay, so I think with Kevin Durant, though, he was the finals MVP for that chip that he got. Twice. Wasn't it both times? Right. And so Steph was crying because, I mean, I still think I don't do you think KD still performs like that without the help? He still shows up like that. So that maybe could be why he made that comment, cuz in his mind, he thought, I'm going to do this regardless of who I have around me, but get a championship.
Bree, Kevin Durant is the last person to make that statement.
Oh, you're right.
And I'm not saying he didn't do work when he was in gold. Of course he did. But to say he didn't have to do as much for those 2 championships, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
And then to say you feel like D Wade and James Harden are both winning players? What do you? How's James Harden a winning player? How?
I mean, that hold on, the 2020 season, I know it was an odd season, but James Harden and the Rockets were cooking. They were winning. They were a winning team. And I might be going back a little far. That was 6 years ago. Right. But even the Clippers, they still made it. Like, one thing that James Harden does, he does make it to the playoffs. Like, the guy knows how to make it in the regular season, at least make it to the playoffs. You feel me? I don't know about winning playoffs or their postseason, but he does know how to win a little bit. I'm not going to take that away from him. Like, James Harden does frustrate me, but I still have hope in him in this postseason.
Oh, you do?
I do. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Taking James Harden in his prime versus D Wade in his prime. That's a tough one for me, Bruce.
Okay.
And this is coming from someone who values defense.
Then that should be your answer, Bree. I mean,
I know. It's hard for me to deny James Harden. He literally created a move. He literally created a move in the league.
no, he didn't. Are you gonna tell me you believe he created the step back? Don't say that, Bree.
They was
Now
not.
I'm gonna
was
bombard you with Paul Pierce step backs from
okay.
like the mid
But the
2000s.
point I'm trying to make is maybe I'm showing my age a little bit. But when I was hooping in the gym, when James Harden was, I think, in his prime, that's when I was in college hooping.
Okay, right.
I played with a lot of guys. They were doing step backs out the wazoo. But I don't remember it being like that until Harden was cooking with it.
Yes, so he made it right. But if you really want to, Larry Bird was doing step backs in the 80s.
Okay.
No bull. Step back is not new.
Okay. Okay.
What it is that James Harden took it to a place with all the traveling and all that, and somehow it's not getting called. Well, the stupid gather step rule. That's what it is.
But here's the thing: they were shooting a three way before Steph Curry was born, or maybe I don't know. They didn't do the three. Introduce the three to like the 70s, the
79, 80. Yep.
Yes. So I don't know how old Steph is, but still, like Steph Curry changed the game with the three, but he didn't invent the three. So
right.
That's kind of where I'm coming from with James Harden. But I definitely see what you're saying. Definitely see what you're saying. Humble Sports said 2017, 2020 James Harden run was crazy. It was that's the years that was my college prime years, and I was like, damn.
I would just be more, and I hear you, Bree. I would just be more impressed if there was some defense in there. So
absolutely,
I can't put him ahead of D Wade.
Yeah, I got you. Okay,
D Wade, strap up.
Cool first topic. Again, this is People's Choice. Viewers run the show. Fans submitted their topics, and here is the next one. Best fit for Giannis next year. Now, guys, pay attention to this. It says best fit, not where we would want to see him. But two of those can be they could both mean the same thing to you as a person commenting in this chat. But for us here, right, Bruce? We're gonna look at the best fit. Are we gonna say both?
right.
Yeah.
So that's tough. So everybody who knows me knows that I would love to see Giannis in New York. I would love to see Giannis with the Knicks. I think that would be great. And oh wow, this is funny. So I just popped this in AI because I was saying I want to see him with the Knicks. I think a great fit could be Golden State, right? Him and Steph playing off one another, get Draymond the hell up out of there. And the funny thing is he could kind of play the Draymond role, right? He can grab the rebound, push the ball up in a point forward type position. You know, obviously he's still a very good defender, not quite the elite defender he used to be, but still very good. And, you know, but he also adds much more scoring punch than Draymond did. So if you get rid of Draymond, Giannis could be there. So I think that would be a great fit. But I was saying, I typed it into the AI, and the AI said the best fit if Giannis leave the Bucks is probably
the Knicks,
the New York Knicks. They give him the cleanest combination of big market pressure, half court creation, spacing, and a roster built to win right now. And reports around the league have him also tied to New York as a preferred destination. And I do think that the Knicks can work. Now, the thing is, we know in the NBA, when you trade a superstar, you never get back full value for him. So the question is, how much would the Knicks have to give up to get him? Because remember, this past season, they were talking to Milwaukee, but that all fizzled out. So maybe Milwaukee just wanted too much. So that's the question.
I really appreciate how thoughtful that you brought that analysis to maybe what if a team were to bring him in, for example, the Warriors, they wouldn't be missing a beat bringing in a guy like Giannis. If my only caveat to that is Steve Kerr even going to come back next year? And if he doesn't, that whole system is going to look different. I still
Right.
think a guy like Giannis could fit in with the Warriors for sure. Even if they don't have Steve Kerr anymore. With or without Steve Kerr, he could still fit. Honestly, his value is so up there, he could fit on a lot of teams. Um, I agree with the AI take with the New York Knicks. I even saw a report where it said Giannis would want to go there. But aside from that, would he be a good fit for the Knicks in this Mike Brown system? There now you have a lot of guys that are options. And do you think Giannis is a guy who's gonna require the ball in his hand, and should he have the ball in his hand at this
That's the
point in his
problem.
career?
That's the problem. Like, you have to get him to say, okay, you're going to come off the ball some, and Brunson, you're going to come off the ball some, and we're going to make this work between the two of y'all if you want to win. Because Brunson's not going anywhere. He'll be there. The question is, who else do you give up? Because if we talked about him earlier, if I'm the Bucks and that's a deal that's going to take place with the Knicks, no way you're getting Giannis and I won't get Josh Hart. No way.
Oh, they would
Right?
have you think they let Josh go for Giannis?
Well, it's not only going to be Josh. It's going to be a lot, right? But
I think
I'm
I think
saying
they
if I'm
give up
Milwaukee,
OG too.
yeah, I'm saying if I'm Milwaukee, I want all that. You're getting a guaranteed Hall of Famer, right?
Right.
You're getting a champion. You're getting a 2-time MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year. I want
Yeah.
all that. I'm trying to
And
run your
some.
cash in your jewels, son.
Give me Deuce, OG, and Josh Hart.
Everything. Everything. Throw your hands. Keep your hands high, right? That's what it's going to be. I want
Yeah.
it all. So, yeah, that's the problem. Making it work wherever it is that he goes.
That's tough. That's
Yeah.
real tough.
Yeah.
All right, we gave a West Coast team and an East Coast team. Let's throw in
Mhm.
one more team that could
Okay.
maybe be a good fit for them.
Miami.
You think so? You think
Yeah.
they're gonna give up War and Bam, and I feel like
Yes, I
Bam's
would.
locked in.
Look, if I'm Pat Riley, hey Bam, thank you for everything. So see you in Milwaukee. To get Giannis, you must be crazy. That's not even a discussion. Get up out of here. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Do you think they let go Hero?
Mhm. Yeah, you can get another shooter. You can get
'Cause
another shooter.
yeah, I mean, but looking at their current they have Kevin Porter Jr., which
Mhm.
I think they might try to keep him. Actually, I guess instead of doing that, I just am curious if they give up Giannis, are they giving up anything else, or is Giannis just enough? Or
Um,
could they shock us with a one-person trade like they did Luka and AD? And I saw
who's doing that where it matches up? Giannis is a big money guy. He's
more
a
than
big fish,
Luka
so you
though.
got
I
to make
mean,
the
we
money
can
match.
we can go into how much of a fools the Mavericks were for doing that AD Luka trade, but
Mhm.
they showed us that it's possible.
It is. I just don't know what would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll know soon in the next few months. This is definitely gonna be an all season move that is gonna shock the league, and it's gonna happen probably sooner than we think. Probably as soon as in June, the end of
Yeah,
June.
for real. For real. That's why
Okay,
they weren't trying to let him play.
literally,
Yeah,
and
he was
that's the
mad
whole.
about
Mm-hmm. Okay, people's choice. We have the viewers. Some viewers are running the show right now. Y'all have submitted topics. We have listened. We're gonna go into our third topic here. People's choice. Scottie Pippen ahead of MJ in every statistical category for playoffs in the regular season. This person did say except for points, and I forgot to include that.
it.
But they pretty much are saying Scottie Pippen ahead of MJ if we
Mhm.
look up the stats, except for in scoring.
Which is
I
not really. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Brie.
no good.
No, I was gonna say, like, even that's not quite right. Like, obviously the points are way ahead for Jordan, but even the rest of even if you're looking at totals, like the rest of them are pretty much well in line, right? Michael Jordan rebounds per game 6.2, Scotty 6.4, assists per game, Michael Jordan 5.3, Scotty 5.2, steals per game, Jordan 2.3, Scotty 2.0, blocks per game, Jordan 0.8, Scotty 0.8. Like, they're pretty well outside of scoring, they're pretty well matched up. One may lead here, one may lead there. So I'm not sure what the question was, but
Mhm.
I'll say this, and I told you this before we started. I'm pretty sure whoever sent that in was a LeBron fan, because all they try to do is somehow use Scottie Pippen to try and attack Michael Jordan. That's what they do. So I'm pretty sure that we know what side of the table that person was on. It's insane.
Well, now but it is interesting. Like I didn't even, me, I wasn't alive at that time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was in my mom's belly cooking
Yeah, you
when
got to see it.
they were cooking on the court, and so I when I looked up I mean, obviously, I've watched clips in some
Mm-hmm.
games over the
Yeah,
time, but I can't sit here and say I've seen how it was. Like, you may have seen how it was, right?
I did.
You did. You witnessed it.
I did.
Me looking at the stats, this is why these perspectives are so interesting, y'all, and that's why we love when you drop your takes. Me looking at the stats, I'm like, well, damn, they match up pretty well. And then aside from points, so
Mm-hmm.
what is it that made Jordan so special? Just not saying I don't know, but just for a
Mm-hmm.
fan out there that may be my age or younger, like, well, then what did Jordan do that was so special from Scotty if they have about the same amount of stats averages?
So, okay, a big part of the stats piece that we have to look at, especially offensively,
Mm-hmm.
is the triangle offense, right? So the triangle generally doesn't allow people to really go off like that. And then, back then also you had the small forward and the shooting guard position. A lot of those guys were similar, right? I know you heard the term swingman. A lot of guys played the 2 and the 3. So they were a lot of times similar in body size and composition and could do a lot of the same things. So it's, man, I'm really trying to find a way to put it into words in terms of what made Jordan so special when you see a lot of the numbers being similar. Um, it feels so lazy to say you just had to see it,
Mm-hmm.
but there truly was and I don't know if you watch Sports and Fitness Rants, but he talks about this stuff all the time. There was a feeling that you got watching Jordan and the Bulls play. And this is, starting from that Bulls intro with the music and everything, and then watching the way it was just different. I don't know how to. GBJ World says his swag and style of play is what made Jordan special. I think that's very fair. I think that's very fair. Yeah. Listen, Phil 7930 says there's a reason Kobe was studying MJ and not Scotty. Yeah, Mike was just different, Bree, and I don't know what else to say other than he was just built different. And when you watch him play, it just everything he did looked different. The way he went about it, the explosiveness, the style, it was just different. And it looked different. It gave you a different feeling. Like even when Mike wasn't there and Scotty was getting busy, and I think he came in second in the MVP voting to Olajuwon in 94.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty was one of the best players in the world, but it felt nothing like it felt when Michael Jordan played. There's a feeling. There's a feeling. And if you didn't experience it, you can't really, even though you can go back, you can watch the videos on YouTube, you can watch highlight reels, you can watch the games.
Right.
That feeling is not going to be there the same way as it is for those of us who witnessed it. I don't know, Brie. It's hard to really explain. Those in the chat who knew, what is that? If you know, you know. That's kind of like that.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry, I can't give you a better explanation.
no, I mean, you said a lot, even though, like, you didn't say much, but you said a lot at the same time. And so, let's see what Wild West said. This young generation views LaMelo Ball in this generation, J. Will, white chocolate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Super flashy and entertaining, but the turnovers,
Mm-hmm.
the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I guess
Absolutely.
it goes. Basketball is interesting. I had said this before, but like the game of basketball itself, I'm not gonna say it's not timeless, but it just continues to evolve. And then
Yeah.
from generation to generation, what we value in players change and
Mm-hmm.
what we find amazing changes too. Um, and so it is interesting just seeing, even though their stats were very similar, It was Jordan who had the final MVP. It was Jordan that got the NBA All Teams more. It was Jordan that just got all these things, and Scottie didn't get anything close to it. So he had to have been special if you're talking about these two things. I think he also set the standard too when we talk about the standard of even MVP conversations, right? Because now it's starting to shift where people are getting so nitpicky, where we're trying to decide whether what actually qualifies for MVP, because back in the day, if you look at Scottie and Jordan, the only thing that separated them statistically wise, because that's what we have to go off of, aside from just watching, the only thing you got to beat is points. So then it's like, okay, he's MVP because he scored more. But you're saying you were watching and it was something different, and I respect that 100%. Wish I was there.
I wish you were too. It was special, Bree. For real.
Yeah. Well, okay. We're going to move on to the next topic. I appreciate your input on that, Bruce, so much.
You're welcome.
And even better, to the fan who submitted that topic. We're going to go to our final topic to wrap this up on the People's Choice. Again, the viewers run the show. Next time I have the line open for any fan or viewer to submit a topic, please do so, because we will most likely talk about it. All right. Final topic. Who had the most disappointing season? Now, when this fan or viewer wrote this in, they did not specify player or team. So I was hoping we would do both. So let's just start with teams overall, and then we can go into players. But as a team, I know we mentioned this earlier, and we're probably going to have one of the same teams, at least one. So that we could probably say it at the same time. Let's say it at the same time.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Orlando.
Rocket.
Oh. Okay.
All right, y'all. So who had People's Choice? Who had the most disappointing season? Bruce says Orlando. I say the Rockets. We got Humble Sports TV says Clippers. Interesting. I know. Disappointing, and then we're talking about disappointing seasons. So personally, I think the Rockets were disappointing because, like we said earlier, I thought they would be in 2 seed, and while they still managed to do 5th seed in the West, and they've gotten considerably better somewhat. We've seen that fluctuation all season where they were down, somewhat up, then tanking really bad, and then up. And for me, with especially Kevin Durant, and as much as we put him on this pedestal for the majority, I can't deny he's a superstar. It was very disappointing with it, like you said, Eam. It was just so disappointing to see them at one point. They were like 8th, 9th. They were low. So to have them 5th, it was a sloppy 5, sloppy 5th pace ending for them. Why do you say Orlando?
I had high hopes going into the season for them. I really thought that they were going to take that next step. We talked about Ben Carroll. I thought that he was going to take the next step. There was some fall off there from him last year to this year, even though he hasn't had a terrible year. I think his scoring is down by like 4 points, but his rebounding is up by like 1. But I don't know. I thought that Orlando was going to be better, and they're still in the 7th seed, right? Which realistically kind of makes sense, but I thought they'd be up around 4 or 5 this year based on what we saw last year. And we didn't get that from them. Now, you mentioned earlier, I think the Franz Wagner, I don't know if it was Franz or his brother, but the Wagner injury definitely played a major role in their difficulties this season. But I expected more, and to not see it, I'm like, man, that sucks.
Absolutely. Paolo, if we can keep it going on most disappointed season, we talked about that earlier. But I definitely could see the Magic too. We got Magic, Rockets. I see a fan in here said, a viewer said, Cottage said, I think the Bulls were disappointing in my opinion, sister. And then another team that I think was pretty disappointing that I had higher hopes for. Well, actually, no. Oh, the Mavericks. The Mavericks were very disappointing for me. I had higher hopes for them. And
Mm-hmm.
even with we know the injury prone AD, I still had them higher than that. And there was even one point I thought Kyrie was going to come back. So seeing that he wasn't
Right.
disappointed me as well. So the Mavericks for sure were a team that disappointed me this season.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Okay, shifting from teams to players, any players specific other than Paolo, when we mentioned earlier that you feel like disappointed you this season?
I'm trying to think. He's the main one that really let me down. You know what? Believe it or not, this is gonna sound crazy, despite based on his historical moves, is Kevin Durant, because I really felt like him. I thought he was the missing piece to the Rockets' success, and I haven't really seen that the way I expected to. So yeah, he kind of let me down some, even though he is doing what he consistently does, drop his 25 to 27 a game, easy work. But I just felt like he would be more of a difference maker, and it almost doesn't seem like that.
In what way did you feel like he was going to be a difference maker?
Because
Would
I
have
felt,
taken more points, or I was just saying, would have taken more points, more of a leadership presence? Like, what is it that?
Well, I guess I couldn't expect him to be, expect a leadership presence, because he's made clear on multiple occasions he's not a leader. He has no interest in doing that. He just wants to hoop. But I think I expected more of some more takeover mentality to really carry the team to the heights that a lot of us thought that they would be able to reach. Like we talked about, we both felt like they would be the number 2 seed in the West this year, and clearly that wasn't the case. And I was like, that's crazy. So I think that he could have given us more, even though he gave us what he always gives us and has given us his whole career, right? I just felt like he could have given us more. So yeah.
Another disappointing person this season, I would say, well, I'm drawing a blank. Hate to be so quiet, y'all. Actually, it'd be better if I looked at this. No, I feel you with the KD. That might have been a hot take, or at least for some people, because I know how precious he is to people. But for you to continue to move teams, still do the same thing, and it kind of starts to show like, are you really still that great? Because you've been on multiple teams now doing the same numbers, and nothing has come of it.
Right.
And so this playoffs is huge for Kevin Durant. I don't know if we've been putting enough pressure on him because we've been so focused on the MVP conversations, but Kevin Durant needs to show us something this year, or after this, he's cooked. Does he still have what it takes, or is it too soon? Am I tripping? Or
I'll say this. It's going to be real, real bad for him if they mess around and lose to the Lakers. It's going to be real bad for him.
Terrible.
He's going to get fried.
You said 4-2 record too, Bruce. I'm like, if Kevin Durant loses 2 games to the Lakers team without LeBron, Luka, and AR, oh my gosh. Bruce, he's they'll never let that down. Ever.
I wouldn't. Yeah, if they can't beat the Lakers, it's going to be real ugly for him.
They're going to be talking about that one for a while. What's his contract look like too? Like,
I think he just signed an extension.
He did, right? Exactly.
Yeah, he signed an extension. Yeah, so they compensated him. He better get this job done.
I mean, do you think he's looking at it like, does Kevin Durant think, okay, I've already now, to me, because he made that comment about the rings and how that's not really like a big deal or something, do you think that's because he's already accepted the fact that he's actually not going to win any more rings, and he's going to just maybe try to get as high up on the scoring list as possible before he retires? Man, like, do you even think he cares about that?
I think he does, but I think he says it as a defense mechanism, just like LeBron did. Ring culture is weird. Like, come on, man. Seriously? When you're on wax saying that you left Cleveland because you had to go to Miami to win. Like, I think these guys just say that when the ring count at the end doesn't work out how they expected it to. So the smart thing is, what they believe the smart thing to do is downplay the importance of rings. That's my thought.
Yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm on board with you for that.
Yeah, that's my thought. So
Okay, I'm gonna throw one more cool thing in here, and then we'll wrap it up.
all
For
right.
disappointed season, what coaches do you feel like have had a disappointing season? Is there any coaches
Ooh,
that come to mind? Because I
coach.
got one in my head. I got two actually.
Hold on, I gotta look at all the teams so I can think about this.
Yeah. While you're thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Nick Nurse. I've been on my Nick Nurse
You do
rant.
not like Nick Nurse. I
I,
noticed that.
I'm gonna throw on my Nick Nurse there. I'm gonna throw him
Uh,
out there. He's had a disappointing season. I just feel like he continues to have multiple pieces around him, and he still does
mhm,
nothing with them. And he focuses on the big pieces and neglects
mhm,
all the others. That's not a good coach to me.
right,
And then Steve Kerr can be up there, but was I expecting Steve Kerr to be any different? No,
right,
I guess
and
not.
tons of
But still
injuries too.
disappointing.
Those, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna throw Nick Nurse in there. And then JJ Redick could kind of get it a little bit. Um,
I think JJ Redick did better than I expected originally. So,
okay. He has a
yeah,
101-65 record, I believe. Just to
in
put
2
that out
years,
there for people.
not not terrible.
Mm-mm.
What is that? 55-30.
I think it's better than Darvin Hams, I think.
There you go. But at least Darvin Ham got to Western Conference Finals. So
Exactly.
yeah,
I was waiting for okay, good. We're on the same page.
we are on the same page. We definitely are. I can go with you on Nick Nurse. I think that's fair.
Yeah, just looking at all the teams, right? I feel like all these other than what we've expected from
Mm-mm.
Steve Kerr, I was kind of shocked when you said Ty Lue is a great coach. I'm not
So,
really
I think
a
he
Ty
is.
Lue fan, but
I think he has done so much in terms of keeping these Clippers afloat despite all the injuries through the years, man. I think he's done a ton. His X's and O's are outstanding. By the way, real quick, you mentioned you don't know if Steve Kerr's going to be back. If he's not back, Sam Cassell should get a shot at that job
oh, why you think that?
because he's done it. Sam Cassell is what, 2-time champ as a player. I think 2-time champ as an assistant. He's earned his shot at that thing. I think that it would be great. Obviously, he's a point guard, so he would work well with Steph.
Mhm.
Even though Steph is not really a point guard, but you get the point I'm trying to make. But I think it
Absolutely.
could work. Yeah. No, I think Sam Cassell deserves his shot for sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I didn't even I was thinking about Steve Kerr leaving, didn't think about his replacement, and I think
Right.
they would behoove them to keep it internal, essentially.
Mm, that's not always the best move. So,
I guess
but
okay. I guess because like the Spurs did that, right? They are a
yeah,
different beast.
yeah,
They're a
yeah,
different beast of a
exactly.
team, but of
Exactly.
an organization as a whole.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
didn't the Nuggets do the same thing?
The Celtics did it too.
And the Celtics,
Yeah,
exactly. That's
you
so
might
I'm
be
like,
right,
we can
Bree.
keep it
You might be right.
going.
Yeah, yeah, you might be right. Okay.
But not great call outs. I love it. Man, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, Bruce.
Hey, thank you, Bree. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, man.
Of course. I wouldn't even say opportunity. Like we gotta keep it in the family.
No doubt, no doubt.
um, but appreciate everyone for tuning in. We had a fantastic show. Overall, my favorite was definitely the People's Choice because I love it when fans submit their topics and all the
Right.
activity in the chat. Y'all were cooking tonight, so really appreciate that as well. If you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, and I will be in Chicago, fam. I will be in Chicago for the next few days. So I won't be going live, but I will be dropping
Okay.
videos, polls, quizzes, stuff like that. And so
Nice.
I'll try to, yeah. But I will be back sometime like maybe definitely Thursday. When I come back home Thursday, I will have a show produced and ready to go for y'all. So and the WNBA draft is happening tomorrow. Well, not
That's
tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Today's Sunday, the 13th.
Oh, okay.
So it's
All right.
happening Monday. Yeah. So we will I'll have a lot to say about that for sure when I return.
Nice.
Appreciate you again, Bruce. Make sure you head into the description of this episode and head over to Bruce's channel. Check out his content, man. He's a former. You're a former in a Navy or the Army.
Army.
Oh,
Transformers Navy.
Okay, that's okay, right, because y'all had the Army versus Navy. My bad. My bad. Okay. But still, head over there, y'all. They are veterans and they know what they're talking about. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a good night. And just remember, if you know bull,
you know ball.
All right, y'all. Till next time.
Peace.